My husband's brother said casually, "Since you're making more money now, you should pay my rent. It's only fair." My husband smiled and said, "He's family. You should help." I nodded and said, "You're right." That's why I made some changes with the money. Their mouths dropped when they realized what I had done. I'm 34, and I've been married to my husband, Mark 36, for 10 years. In the beginning, things were good. We weren't rich, but we were okay. Mark used to make more money than me, and that was fine. I liked my lower-paying job and didn't mind our setup. Mark never complained, until I started making more. 2 years ago, I got a new job and quickly got promoted. Now I make twice as much as Mark. I didn't brag about it or make it a big deal. I kept paying my share of the bills, and we still had a joint account for household stuff. I never asked him to pay more, even though I earned more. In fact, I paid for a lot of the fun stuff, vacations, treats, little extras. That was my mistake, because once people see you making money, they act like it belongs to them. Then there's Mark's brother, Mike, 38. Mike is always a mess. He can't keep a job, always has drama with girlfriends, and nothing is ever his fault. And every few years, he ends up staying with us for a few weeks, which turns into months without paying rent. We've loaned him money, never got it back. Paid his bills, even let him use one of our cars. But after I got my raise, he started making comments like, "Must be nice to have money now. Your job must be easy. So you're the one bringing in the money now, huh?" I ignored him. So did Mark. I figured it was just Mike being Mike. Then he asked for $500. I said no. He got mad, but I thought that was the end of it. It wasn't. One night, he showed up uninvited for dinner. Right in the middle of eating, he said, "Since you make so much now, you should cover my rent. It's only $1,200. I stared at him. Did I hear that right? He continued, "You have a good life, and I'm struggling. Isn't that what family does, help each other?" I looked at Mark, expecting him to say something. Instead, Mark smiled and said, "He's family, babe. We've helped before. What's the big deal?" Something snapped in me. I was more shocked at Mark than Mike. I built a life with this man, and now I was expected to pay even more just because I earn more? I smiled and said calmly, "You're right. Family helps family. I'll make some financial changes." They both looked happy. Big mistake. The next day, I made my move. First, I cut off Mark's access to my personal bank account. I only put in my half of the bills into the shared account and nothing extra. Second, I checked what I was paying for. Turns out, I was covering Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, Mark's gym membership, his car insurance, his credit card. I was a co-signer. I canceled everything that wasn't a must. Third, I gave Mike what he asked for, his own place. I found a cheap apartment in a bad area. I paid the deposit and first and last month's rent under his name. It was all his. The landlord knew to contact him, not me. That night, Mark tried to watch Netflix. "Hey, did you forget to pay?" "Nope," I said. I made a financial adjustment. The next day, he couldn't get into the gym. What's going on? Financial adjustment. Then his car insurance called missed payment. Did you cancel it? Nope. I just stopped paying it. Mark freaked out, saying it wasn't fair and I was punishing him. I smiled sweetly. "Don't worry. Mike's rent is covered now. You said family helps each other, remember?" Then I handed them Mike's lease. Good news, he moves into his own place next week. Mark looked shocked. Mike went red. I just smiled. Mike jumped up. "What is this?" "Your new apartment," I said. "You wanted rent help, so I handled it." Mark yelled, "This is insane. You didn't even talk to me." I laughed. "Did you ask me before offering up my money?" Silence. Then Mike muttered, "This is why women shouldn't make more than their husbands." I froze. Mark said nothing. I looked at Mike. "What did you just say?" He repeated it. "Women get power hungry and think they run the place." I smiled slowly. "Oh, Mike, you have no idea how much worse this is going to get." The next 2 days, I kept going. I had Mike's keys ready early. I packed all his stuff, clothes, games, everything, and dropped it off at his new place. I left a note. "Your new kingdom. Enjoy." That night, he came home and panicked. "Where's my stuff?" "At your new place. You can't just throw me out." "I didn't. I set you up with your own apartment. Why aren't you saying thank you? I saw it in his face. He was scared. For the first time, he was truly alone. No job, no girlfriend, no friends to run to. He wasn't just using us for money, he needed us. And that's when I knew I had done the right thing. Next morning, Mark woke up and said, "My phone bill isn't paid." "Oh yeah," I said. "I took my name off that too. That's all yours now." He groaned. "This is getting out of hand." I slid him a cup of coffee. "Did you just call me ridiculous?" When I refused to pay for his brother's rent, I reminded Mark that I was just making things fair, like he had said. His jaw tightened. He had no comeback, but then he tried one last trick. "Fine," he said. "If you won't help my brother, at least keep things the same between us. This isn't just about him anymore." I actually laughed. "Oh, Mark," I said, shaking my head. "You were fine with everything when it worked in your favor. Now that you feel it too, suddenly it's a problem." He didn't say anything, but I could see something change in his eyes. He wasn't trying to fix anything, he just wanted control back. That's when I made one last move. I called a lawyer. I thought I had everything handled, but I wasn't ready for what came next. A week after I cut him off financially, Mark came home drunk and angry. "You're tearing this family apart," he muttered, tossing his keys. "All over money." I stayed calm. "No, Mark, you let your brother treat me like an ATM. That's what ruined it." He gave a bitter laugh and rubbed his face. "You really think you'll be okay without me?" I was caught off guard. "Excuse me?" He leaned in, smiling too wide. "You think you've got it all figured out. You think you're so smart. But guess what? That lawyer you called, he's our lawyer." My blood went cold. "What do you mean?" Mark grinned. "You really think I didn't see this coming? I've been preparing too." Then he dropped the bomb. "I've been moving money around." The room seemed to spin. "What did you do?" He sipped his beer like he was proud. "Let's just say, if you try to leave, it won't be easy." I didn't flinch. I didn't panic. I crossed my arms and looked him in the eye. "Explain," I said calmly. Mark dragged it out, loving the moment. "While you were busy changing things, I was too. We're still married. I've been quietly moving money from our joint account into one just for me, a little at a time, nothing big enough to raise flags." My stomach turned. "How much?" He smiled. "Enough." That night, after he passed out drunk on the couch, I grabbed my laptop. What I saw made me sick. Over $15,000 was gone. Not in one chunk, just slow withdrawals over months. He had started before we even argued about Mike. This wasn't about his brother. Mark had planned this. He'd been waiting for me to fight back so he could hit harder. And then, worse. I found a loan. A $20,000 loan. In my name. Mark wasn't just stealing. He was trying to bury me in debt. I called my lawyer the next morning. They said we could trace the money and fight the loan. But something still felt off. I needed more. Then I remembered, Mark talks too much when he drinks. So I waited. For 2 days, I acted like nothing was wrong. I let him think he won. I let him think I was scared. On the third night, after a few beers, I casually asked, "So where's the money?" He laughed. "Why, you planning to take it back?" "No," I said lightly. "I just want to know how smart you really are." Mark smirked. "Oh, I'm smart. Smarter than you ever thought." I tilted my head. "Then tell me." And he did. It wasn't just the money or the loan. Mark had been planning this for a year, ever since my raise, because he was seeing someone else. And that loan, it was for her. I felt like I'd been punched, but I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't even flinch. I smiled, because he had just handed me everything I needed. I took a slow sip of wine and smiled at him. "Wow," I said. "You really thought you'd get away with this, huh?" His smile faltered. "What's that supposed to mean?" I grabbed my bag, and dropped a folder on the table. "This is everything I found. The transfers. The loan. All of it." His face turned pale. "Where did you get this?" "I have my ways," I said. He flipped through the papers, breathing hard. Then I pulled out one last page. "And this," I said, "proves your affair." His head snapped up. "You're lying." I slid the paper across the table. It was a bank transfer, from our account to some woman's account. The note? "For rent, my love. Can't wait to see you again." I let it all sink in. Mark looked stunned, His mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water. Don't, I said, raising my hand. Don't lie. Don't try to twist this. You got caught. Own it. Silence. Then from the hallway a voice said, Well, this is awkward. I turned around. It was Mike standing in the doorway. I had completely forgotten he was still staying at our place. He strolled in slowly, running a hand through his messy hair like he had just gotten out of bed. So he said, looking at both of us, Mark's been cheating. Not surprised. Mark snapped his head toward him. Shut up, Mike. This has nothing to do with you. Mike chuckled. Oh, it definitely does. He pulled out his phone and waved it. I heard everything, and I recorded it. My eyes went wide. You recorded all of that? Mike shrugged. Hey, I may be a screw-up, but I'm not stupid. I had a feeling Mark was doing you dirty. But wow, this is worse than I thought. Mark exploded. He grabbed Mike by the shirt. Delete it. Mike just smirked. Make me. I probably should have stopped them. But honestly, I didn't. Mark threw the first punch, but Mike was bigger. He shoved Mark hard, sending him crashing into the kitchen counter. Glass shattered all over the floor. Mark wiped his bleeding lip and yelled, You bastard. Mike glared at him. Funny coming from the guy who's been treating me like garbage for years, while using our money to play sugar daddy. Mark turned to me, panicking. Are you really just going to let him do this? I crossed my arms. I didn't tell him to record you, but I'm definitely not stopping him. Mark's face turned red. He knew he was cornered. And like all cowards, he ran. He grabbed his keys, stormed out, and slammed the door so hard it shook the walls. The house went quiet. For the first time in years, it actually felt peaceful. Mike let out a low whistle. Well, that was a mess. I looked at him. You seriously got the whole thing recorded? He held up his phone. Full audio. Clear as day. Want to send it to your lawyer? I stared at him. Mike, the guy everyone thought was a burden, had just handed me the final piece I needed to end this. Yeah, I said, taking a deep breath. Send it. The next morning, I filed for divorce. With the money transfers, the fake loan, and now proof of the affair, Mark didn't stand a chance. My lawyer froze all our accounts before he could take anything else. And because he used my name to take out a loan that went to his girlfriend, the bank opened a fraud case. Mark was done. And that girlfriend, she dumped him the second the money stopped. Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. Last I heard, Mark had to move in with his parents, and they were not happy. Even worse, he had to borrow money from Mike. Yeah, Mike, the same brother he always mocked. Let that sink in. And Mike, he's still got problems, but he's doing better. He even found a job and paid me back part of what he owed. Honestly, I think for the first time, he actually learned something. As for me, I'm free. Free from the lies. Free from the stress. Free from Mark. And you know what? I've never slept better in my life.
I stand in front of the mirror, adjusting the black dress that belonged to my mother before she became someone I barely recognize. The fabric feels like a stranger's skin against mine, just like this whole evening feels like a carefully orchestrated lie. My name is Morgan, and tonight I'm supposed to play the role of the happy daughter at my mother's engagement party. The invitation arrived 3 days ago, wrapped in cream-colored paper that probably cost more than my weekly groceries. No prior warning. No family discussion. Just a fancy piece of paper announcing that Grace Carter would become Grace Mitchell. Morgan, sweetheart, are you ready? Mother's voice floats up the stairs, syrupy sweet, the way it gets when she wants something. The guests are arriving. I dig my nails into my palms. Coming. The house smells different now, like expensive perfume and unfamiliar cologne. Gone are the traces of Dad's favorite coffee and his old leather armchair. Mother had it removed last month, claiming it didn't match the new decor. Just like that, 17 years of morning conversations with Dad, wiped away with the interior decorator's wave. I descend the stairs, each step measured and deliberate. The foyer bustles with caterers and event staff, transforming our home into something out of a lifestyle magazine. Mother stands at the center of it all, radiant in her designer dress, her hand intertwined with Henry Mitchell's, her new beginning, my nightmare. There you are. She beckons me over, her smile too bright, too practiced. Henry's daughter Olivia is dying to meet you. A girl emerges from behind Henry, all perfect curls and calculated warmth. 15 going on 30, wearing a dress that probably costs more than my college fund. "I always wanted a sister," she says, her voice dripping with rehearsed enthusiasm. I force my face into what I hope passes for a smile. "How nice." Henry clears his throat, his hand possessive on Mother's waist. "Grace tells me you're finishing high school this year, Morgan. Any thoughts about college?" "Dad's alma mater," I answer automatically. "He always said—" "Oh, honey," Mother interrupts. "We should discuss that later. The Petersons just arrived." And just like that, I'm dismissed, relegated to the background of their perfect family portrait. I watch as Mother glides through the crowd, introducing her new family to our old friends. Each time she says, "My daughter Morgan," it sounds more like an afterthought. I retreat to the kitchen, seeking refuge among the catering staff. Through the service window, I catch glimpses of the party. Olivia charming Dad's old colleagues, Henry commanding attention with stories of his business success, Mother laughing at all the right moments. They make quite the picture, don't they? I turn to find Thomas, my grandfather, studying me with knowing eyes. He's the only one who still looks at me the same way he did before Dad died. "Did you know?" I ask, my voice barely steady. "About the engagement?" He shakes his head, his expression grim. "Found out same time as you, kid. Your mother's always been good at keeping secrets when it suits her." Through the window, I watch as Henry raises his glass. "To new beginnings," he announces, and the crowd echoes his toast. Mother beams, but her eyes dart around the room, seeking me out. When she finds me watching from the kitchen, something flickers across her face. Guilt, perhaps, or maybe just annoyance at my absence from her perfect moment. "Your father would be proud of you," Grandpa Thomas says quietly. "Standing your ground." I grip the counter edge until my knuckles turn white. "She's erasing him, Grandpa. Everything he was, everything he wanted for us, she's just replacing it all." "Then don't let her." His voice carries the weight of promise. "Your father left more than just memories, Morgan. When the time comes, you'll understand." I look at him sharply, but he's already turning away, leaving me with questions I'm not sure I want answered. In the other room, Mother's laugh rings out, artificial and sharp like breaking glass. This isn't just about an engagement anymore. This is about preservation, of memories, of promises, of everything Dad held dear. And if Mother thinks she can simply write over our past with her golden future, she's about to learn exactly how much of him lives on in me. The lock clicks differently now. That's the first thing I notice when I return home from school. The sound is wrong, like everything else since the engagement party 3 days ago. I push open the door and freeze. My room isn't my room anymore. Pale pink walls have replaced the deep blue I picked with Dad. My photography collection, carefully curated over years, has vanished, replaced by fashion magazine cutouts and selfies of Olivia with her friends. My desk, where I spent countless nights studying, now holds a vanity mirror bordered with LED lights. "Do you like it?" Olivia appears behind me, her voice honey-sweet. "Your mother said I could redecorate since you'll be leaving for college soon anyway." I turn slowly, my hands trembling. "Where are my things?" "Oh, those old photos?" She waves dismissively. "Grace packed them away somewhere. The basement, I think." She said we needed to modernize the space. The basement, where forgotten things go to die. I brush past her, taking the stairs 2 at a time. Mother stands in the kitchen, arranging flowers in a crystal vase I've never seen before. "Morgan, perfect timing. Henry and Olivia are joining us for dinner. Could you set the table?" "My room." I manage through clenched teeth. "You gave away my room." She doesn't look up from her flowers. "Don't be dramatic. We're all going to be family soon. Olivia needs her own space, and you'll be gone in a few months anyway." "Gone?" The word tastes bitter. I haven't even applied to colleges yet. "About that." She finally meets my eyes. "Henry thinks it might be best if you consider community college first, with the wedding expenses and Olivia's private school tuition." The vase wobbles as my hands slam against the counter. "Private school? What about my college fund?" "Morgan." Her voice sharpens. "Henry is being incredibly generous, taking us both in. The least we can do is ensure Olivia gets the best education possible." "The least we can do?" I laugh, but it sounds more like breaking glass. "That money was from Dad. He saved it for my education. Your father isn't here anymore. She straightens her designer blouse, another new addition to her wardrobe. We need to think about the future, not cling to the past. The front door opens, and Henry's voice booms through the house. Something smells wonderful. Mother's face transforms instantly, softening into the perfect hostess. In the kitchen, darling. I watch as Henry sweeps in, kissing her cheek before nodding at me. Morgan, how was school? Before I can answer, Olivia bounces in. Daddy, wait until you see my new room. Grace helped me pick everything out. It's absolutely perfect. My room, I correct quietly. No one seems to hear. Dinner is a performance. Mother and Henry discuss wedding plans while Olivia interjects with suggestions about colors and flowers. I push food around my plate, wondering if Dad's ghost is watching this travesty from somewhere. Oh, and Morgan, Henry says between bites. I've arranged for you to intern at my friend's local newspaper this summer. Good experience for community college. My fork clatters against the plate. I already have summer plans. Photography workshop in New York. That expensive program? Mother frowns. We discussed this. It's not practical anymore. Dad promised, I start. Well, he's not here to keep that promise, is he? The words slice through the air, leaving silence in their wake. I stand up so quickly my chair tips backward. No, he's not. And you're making damn sure I never forget that. Morgan. Mother's shock seems genuine, as if she can't fathom why I'm upset. I back away from the table, from these strangers wearing family masks. I'm going to Grandpa Thomas's. Don't be ridiculous, Mother calls after me. You can't just leave in the middle of dinner. But I'm already grabbing my keys, my phone, anything within reach. Behind me, I hear Olivia's staged whisper. Is she always this dramatic? The drive to Grandpa's takes 12 minutes. I know because I count every second, trying to breathe through the rage and grief fighting in my chest. His porch light is on, like always, a beacon in the growing dark. He opens the door before I knock, one look at my face telling him everything he needs to know. They redecorated your room, didn't they? I nod, words stuck somewhere between anger and tears. Come on in, kid. He steps aside. I've got some things to show you about your father's estate, things your mother doesn't know about yet. For the first time today, I feel something like hope. Grandpa Thomas spreads the papers across his kitchen table, each document a piece of the puzzle Dad left behind. Bank statements, insurance policies, property deeds, a paper trail of promises I never knew existed. Your father wasn't just thinking about college, Grandpa says, tapping a particular document. He set up a trust, one your mother can't touch. My hands shake as I read the numbers. This can't be right. James was always smarter than Grace gave him credit for. Grandpa's voice carries a hint of satisfaction. He knew she'd try to control your future someday. The front door chimes, interrupting our conversation. Through the window, I spot Mother's Mercedes in the driveway, its pristine surface reflecting the setting sun like a warning. Morgan, her voice rings through the house. I know you're here. We need to talk about your behavior. Grandpa Thomas meets my eyes. Your choice, kid. Face her now or wait. I gather the papers, sliding them into my backpack. Now, I'm done running. Mother stands in the living room, designer purse clutched like a shield. This tantrum needs to stop. Henry and Olivia are trying so hard to welcome you into the family. By stealing my college fund, the words taste like acid. That money is going toward building our future together. She steps closer, reaching for my arm. Morgan, please try to understand. Henry can provide opportunities we never had before. You mean opportunities for Olivia? I pull away. Show her the trust fund documents, Grandpa. He hands them over without a word. Mother's face changes as she reads. Confusion, then shock, then something darker. This isn't possible, she whispers. James didn't have this kind of money. Dad had a lot of things you didn't know about. I watch her carefully. Including the house deed. Did you tell Henry it's still in Dad's name? That you can't sell it without my signature when I turn 18? The papers crumple in her grip. You're 17. I'm still your legal guardian. For 8 more months, I take a step forward. Long enough to watch you and Henry waste my college fund on Olivia's private school? I don't think so. You ungrateful... She catches herself, smoothing her expression. Morgan, everything I've done has been for us, for our security. No. The certainty in my voice surprises even me. Everything you've done has been for you. Dad made sure I'd have choices, Mother, real ones, not the scraps you and Henry decide to throw my way. Her phone buzzes, probably Henry wondering where she is. She glances at it, then back at me, calculation replacing anger. We can discuss this later when you're thinking clearly. She turns to leave, then pauses. But remember who's still in charge for the next 8 months. Don't push me, Morgan. After she's gone, Grandpa Thomas settles into his armchair. She'll try something now. You know that, right? I nod, already scrolling through my phone. That's why I'm calling Dad's lawyer, the one you recommended. Smart girl. He smiles, but it doesn't reach his eyes. Your father would be proud. But Morgan? Yeah? Watch out for Olivia. She's more like her father than your mother realizes. I think of my transformed bedroom, of Olivia's calculated innocence. I know, but they don't know what I know now. Just be careful. He coughs, a rough sound that makes me look at him sharply. This kind of fight, it changes people. I'm already changed. I touch the trust fund papers in my bag. They just don't know it yet. That night I drive past our house, my house, technically. Through the window I see them, Mother, Henry, and Olivia, gathered around the dinner table like a perfect family portrait. Olivia catches my eye and waves, all sugar-sweet venom. I don't wave back. Instead, I take a photo with my phone, documenting this moment. The calm before the storm they don't see coming. Let them play house. Let them think they've won. In 8 months, they'll learn what Dad always taught me. The quiet ones, the ones you underestimate, they're the ones you should watch out for. I start the car, but before I pull away, I send the photo to Mother with a simple message. Enjoy my college fund while you can. Time's running out. Then I block her number and drive back to Grandpa's house, where the real planning can begin. The local coffee shop becomes my refuge, a place where I can spread out college applications and scholarship forms without Mother's disapproving shadow. I've been living at Grandpa's for 2 weeks now, each day a small victory in reclaiming my life. Your usual? Sarah, the barista, already has my order started. Thanks. I pull out Dad's old laptop, the one thing I managed to save before Olivia's invasion. Double shot today. Rough morning? Before I can answer, my phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. A photo appears. My childhood bedroom, now completely gutted. The caption reads, "Making space for my dance studio. Hope you didn't leave anything important behind." Oh, my hands clench around the phone. Through the window, I spot Henry's Mercedes idling across the street, Olivia in the passenger seat, phone still raised. She waves, all innocence and spite. Morgan? Sarah sets down my coffee. You okay? You look like you've seen a ghost. Something like that. I force myself to look away from the window. Hey, are you still looking for weekend help? She brightens. Actually, yeah. You interested? Very. I need money that Mother can't control, a backup plan she can't touch. The bell above the door chimes. Grandpa Thomas walks in, but something's wrong. His usual steady stride is slower, more deliberate. He spots me and manages a smile that doesn't quite mask his exhaustion. Thought I'd find you here. He settles into the chair across from me, waving off my concerned look. Just the stares giving these old bones trouble. Grandpa, don't. He pulls out a thick manila envelope. We have more important things to discuss. Your father's lawyer called. My coffee goes cold as we review the documents. Dad's trust fund is ironclad, but there's a catch. I can't access it until I'm 18 or enrolled in college, whichever comes first. Mother's trying to delay my college applications, I realize. That's why she keeps pushing community college. She wants to control the money as long as possible. Grandpa nods grimly. But there's something else. He slides over another document, this one yellowed with age. The house deed has a clause your mother doesn't know about. If she remarries while you're still a minor, control of the property goes to a trust managed by you, I breathe, understanding dawning. Dad made you the trustee. Smart man, your father. Grandpa's pride is evident. He knew Grace better than she thought. My phone buzzes again. Mother this time. I silence it without looking. They're going to fight this, I say. Count on it. He coughs, a rough sound that makes my chest tighten. That's why we need to move fast. The wedding's in 6 weeks. Grandpa, are you sure you're... I'm fine. He waves off my concern again, but I catch the slight tremor in his hand. Focus on what matters. Get those applications done. I'll handle the legal side. The bell chimes again. Henry walks in, all corporate confidence and calculated charm. Not a coincidence, then. They followed me here. Morgan, Thomas. He nods to us both. Grace is worried sick, you know. This rebellion has gone on long enough. I start gathering my papers, but Grandpa's hand on my arm stops me. We're not finished here, Henry. Actually, I think you are. Henry's smile doesn't reach his eyes. Grace mentioned you've been feeling under the weather lately, Thomas. Perhaps you should focus on your health rather than encouraging Morgan's difficult phase. The threat hangs in the air, subtle but clear. Interesting concern, Grandpa replies mildly. I'm well enough to execute my duties as trustee, though, both legal and ethical ones. Henry's smile falters for just a moment. Trustee? Morgan, show him the deed clause. Grandpa's voice carries a strength I haven't heard in days. The one about remarriage and property rights. I slide the document across the table, watching Henry's face as he reads. His composed mask cracks, just slightly, but it's enough. We'll have our lawyers review this, he says finally, his tone carefully neutral. Please do. Grandpa stands, steadier now despite his earlier weakness. And Henry? Tell Grace that if anything happens to me before the wedding, everything goes directly to Morgan. Immediately. I've made sure of that. As Henry leaves, I turn to my grandfather. Did Dad really plan all this? Your father knew the value of a good backup plan. He smiles, but I catch the flash of pain he tries to hide. Now, about those college applications. I open my laptop again, but my eyes stay on Grandpa, worry gnawing at my chest. We're winning this battle, but I can't shake the feeling that we're running out of time. The acceptance letter from Dad's alma mater sits on Grandpa's kitchen table like a time bomb, full scholarship, everything Dad ever wanted for me, everything Mother tried to prevent. I haven't told her yet. Grandpa shuffles in, his morning paper tucked under his arm. The shuffling is new, like his cough, like the way he grips furniture when he thinks I'm not looking. He's getting worse, but neither of us acknowledges it. Big day, he says, nodding at the letter. Your father would be proud. Mother's lawyer called again. I push my untouched coffee aside. They want a meeting, all of us. He settles into his chair with a barely concealed wince. Of course they do, the wedding's in 2 weeks. The doorbell interrupts us. Through the window, I spot Mother's Mercedes, but it's Henry who stands on the porch, alone for once. Morgan. He nods as I open the door. Thomas, may I come in? Grandpa waves him toward the kitchen, where my acceptance letter lies exposed. Henry's eyes fix on the university letterhead, his expression tightening. Congratulations, he says smoothly, though I assume you haven't accepted yet. Actually, before you do, he interrupts, I have a proposition, one that could benefit everyone. Grandpa's hand tightens on his coffee cup. Careful, Henry. It's quite simple. Henry pulls out a checkbook. Defer college for a year. Let Grace have her wedding, let the dust settle. In return, I'll personally fund your education, any school you choose. You mean let the trust fund stay under Mother's control? I mean give your mother this one thing. His voice softens. She's trying, Morgan, in her way. By stealing my college fund? By erasing Dad from our lives? By surviving. He writes something on a check, slides it across the table. This could end the fighting, give everyone a fresh start. The amount makes my breath catch. More than the trust fund, more than I'd need for any university. And all I have to do is disappear for a year? My voice sounds distant to my own ears. Let Mother play happy families while Olivia takes over my life? Think of it as an investment in peace. Grandpa starts coughing, deep, racking coughs that shake his whole body. I rush to get his water, but he waves me off. I'm fine. He manages between coughs. Just need a minute. Henry watches this exchange with calculated interest. Thomas, perhaps you should see a doctor. Grace mentioned you've been unwell. I don't need... Another coughing fit cuts him off. Actually, Henry continues, I know an excellent specialist. I'd be happy to arrange an appointment. Consider it part of our agreement. The manipulation is so obvious, it burns. I look at Grandpa, at the way his hands shake, at the pallor of his skin, then at the check, at the acceptance letter that represents everything I've fought for. Morgan. Grandpa's voice is steady despite his weakness. Remember what your father said about shortcuts. This isn't a shortcut, Henry interjects. It's a compromise, one that could help everyone, including Thomas. I pick up the check, feel its weight in my hands. Think about Grandpa's worsening health, about Mother's determination to control my future, about Olivia's smirking victory. Then I tear it in half. No deal. I meet Henry's startled gaze. I'm accepting the scholarship. I'm keeping the house. And if anything happens to Grandpa, anything at all, every lawyer in the state will know exactly who to investigate. Henry's mask slips, just for a moment. You're making a mistake. No, you are. I gather the torn pieces of his check. You thought you could buy me off like you bought Mother, but Dad taught me better than that. Your father is dead, he says flatly. And Thomas, well, time will tell. The threat hangs in the air as he leaves. When his car pulls away, Grandpa reaches for my hand. You okay, kid? I'm not. I'm terrified of losing him, of facing Mother's fury, of fighting this battle alone. But I think of Dad, of his quiet strength, of the legacy he left me to protect. I need to make some calls, I say instead, starting with Dad's lawyer. Grandpa nods, understanding everything I'm not saying. Whatever happens next, Morgan, remember, you're your father's daughter. I look at the acceptance letter again, at my future written in black and white. 2 weeks until the wedding. 2 weeks to prepare for whatever Henry and Mother are planning. 2 weeks to make sure I don't lose everything, or everyone, I have left. The funeral home smells like Mother's expensive perfume and false sympathy. Grandpa Thomas died 3 days before her wedding, his heart giving out in the quiet hours of mourning while I slept down the hall. Now I stand beside his casket, watching Mother work the room like it's another social event. Such a tragedy, she keeps saying. At least he lived to see Morgan get into college. The college acceptance letter sits in my pocket, creased and worn. Grandpa insisted I bring it today, his last coherent request before the end. I didn't understand why until Dad's lawyer approached me an hour ago, envelope in hand. Your grandfather was very specific about the timing, he said quietly, to be opened at the memorial, not before. Now the envelope burns in my other pocket, waiting. Morgan. Henry materializes beside me, his voice low. Grace would like you to say a few words. Family unity, especially today. I turn to face him. The wedding's tomorrow. Couldn't even wait a week. Life goes on. His smile doesn't reach his eyes. Thomas would have understood. Thomas understood everything. I pull out the envelope, including you. Before he can respond, Mother calls everyone to attention. She stands at the podium, elegant in designer black, Olivia at her side like a shadow. We're here to celebrate Thomas's life, she begins. A wonderful father, grandfather, and trustee. I step forward, breaking protocol, breaking the perfect facade she's built. Maybe we should talk about that part. The room goes quiet. Mother's smile freezes. Morgan, sweetheart, this isn't the time. Actually, it's exactly the time. I open the envelope, hands steady despite everything. Grandpa Thomas left instructions about the house, about the trust fund, about everything. Henry moves toward me, but I'm already reading. In the event of my death, all trustee responsibilities transfer immediately to Morgan Carter, effective on her 18th birthday in 3 months. Until then, all assets are frozen. Mother's composure cracks. That's impossible. She's still a minor. With a court-appointed guardian. Dad's lawyer steps forward. Me. Thomas arranged it last week. The whispers start. I watch Mother's carefully constructed world crumble in real time. Olivia's smirk vanishes. Henry's mask slips completely. You can't do this, Mother hisses, grabbing my arm. This is my house, my life. It was Dad's house. I pull away. And Grandpa protected it, just like he protected me. The wedding tomorrow? You can have it anywhere but there. You ungrateful, She catches herself, aware of the audience. Everything I've done was for us, for your future. No. My voice breaks just a little. Everything you've done was for you. And now you've lost it all. The next moments blur. Mother crying perfectly orchestrated tears. Henry making urgent phone calls. Olivia's venomous glare as their perfect plan implodes. I step outside, needing air, needing space. The autumn wind carries leaves across the parking lot, red and gold, like the ones Grandpa and I used to collect. The grief hits then, a physical force that drives me to my knees. Morgan, Dad's lawyer, no, my guardian now, touches my shoulder. There's more. Thomas left you a letter. Another envelope. My hands shake as I open it, recognizing Grandpa's unsteady handwriting. My dear Morgan, by now they've shown their true colors. Your mother will try to paint me as senile. Henry will threaten legal action, and you'll feel more alone than ever. But remember, you're a Carter. Your father and I made sure you'd have the tools to fight back. The house, the trust fund, your future, they're yours to protect now. Don't let the grief blind you. Don't let revenge consume you. Build something better from these ashes. I'm sorry I couldn't stay longer. But you don't need me anymore. You never did. All my love, Grandpa Thomas. The paper blurs as tears fall. Behind me, I hear Mother's voice rising. Henry's attempts to control the situation. Olivia's dramatic sobs. Their perfect world is shattering, and I should feel victorious. Instead, I feel hollow, empty. Grandpa's gone, really gone. And tomorrow, Mother will marry Henry in some hastily arranged venue, and I'll go home to an empty house full of ghosts. I fold the letter carefully, tucking it away with my college acceptance. 3 months until I'm 18. 3 months to hold everything together. 3 months to prove Grandpa right, that I'm stronger than the grief, bigger than the revenge, worthy of the legacy they left me. But right now, watching the autumn leaves dance across my grandfather's grave, I've never felt more alone. The key still works in the front door lock, though Mother changed everything else about our home during my 3 weeks away. I step inside, breathing in the unfamiliar scent of expensive candles and new furniture. The house feels wrong, like a stage set pretending to be something it's not. My footsteps echo on hardwood floors that once held Dad's favorite rugs. In the living room, family photos have been replaced by abstract art. Only one remains, Mother and Henry's wedding portrait, prominently displayed where Dad's graduation photo used to hang. Morgan? Mother's voice carries from upstairs. Is that you? I don't answer, moving instead toward the basement door. My childhood sits in boxes down there, waiting to be reclaimed. But the door is locked, new deadbolt, freshly installed. Looking for something? Olivia appears at the top of the stairs, twirling a key ring. Daddy changed the locks after you tried to stop the wedding, for security. This is still my house. Is it? She descends slowly, each step deliberate, because it looks like our house now. Mother and Daddy made sure of that. Your mother? The words taste like poison. Well, she's not exactly yours anymore, is she? Her smile is razor sharp. Not since you tried to ruin everything at the funeral. Mother appears behind her, elegant as always in designer clothes that Dad's insurance money probably bought. Morgan, we need to talk about your behavior. This rebellion has gone far enough. Rebellion? I pull out the court documents. My trump card? The one Grandpa Thomas prepared? You mean legally protecting what's mine? What's yours? Mother's composure cracks. I raised you. I sacrificed everything. You sacrificed Dad's memory, his wishes, my future. Your future? She laughs, brittle and sharp. A photography degree? Thomas filled your head with nonsense about following your dreams, but dreams don't pay bills. No. Henry's voice joins in as he enters through the front door. But trust funds do. The ones you tried to access last week, Grace. Mother freezes. Even Olivia looks surprised. What? I turn to Henry. What did she do? Attempted to transfer the funds before the court order took effect. He sets his briefcase down, looking tired. It didn't work. You promised you'd handle it, Mother hisses at him. You said... I said I'd try. He loosens his tie. But Thomas was thorough. Every attempt triggered notifications to the lawyers. The truth hits like a physical blow. You married him to get access to my trust fund. I married him because we needed security. Mother's careful mask shatters completely. Your father left us with nothing but a house we can't sell and dreams we can't afford. He left us everything that mattered. Matter? She grabs a wedding photo, throws it at my feet. The glass shatters. This matters. Status, security, a real future, not some fantasy about following in his footsteps. I step over the broken glass, moving toward the stairs. I'm taking my things from the basement. There's nothing down there. Olivia's smirk returns. We had it cleared out last week. Professional junk removal. The world stops. What? It was time to let go. Mother's voice turns soothing, reasonable. Start fresh. Henry's interior decorator is coming tomorrow to... I don't hear the rest. I'm already moving, running up to my old room, Olivia's room now. But in the back of my closet, behind her designer clothes, I find it. Dad's old camera bag, hidden where I stashed it years ago. Inside, wrapped in his favorite shirt, is a sealed envelope. One final message from Grandpa Thomas, hidden where he knew I'd look. Touch that and I'll call the police. Mother stands in the doorway. That's Olivia's closet now. I open the envelope. Inside is a key and a note. Storage unit 247. Everything that matters is waiting. They can't take what they can't find. The laugh bubbles up before I can stop it. Even now, they're still protecting me. Still one step ahead. You can keep the house, I tell Mother, tucking the key away. For now, but in 3 months, when I turn 18, I want you gone, all of you. You can't, I can. I will. I shoulder past her, past Olivia's shocked face and Henry's calculating stare. Dad and Grandpa made sure of that. At the front door, I pause. Oh, and Mother, check your prenup carefully. I'm not the only one they were protecting me from. I leave them there, surrounded by their perfect new life built on hollow foundations. In my pocket, the storage unit key feels like a promise. Some things, it turns out, they couldn't erase after all. The house key feels different in my hand now. Heavier, like it knows things have changed. I unlock the front door of what was once Mother's perfect showcase home, now emptied of her designer furniture and Henry's corporate art. Only the echoes remain. My footsteps carry me through rooms that hold more ghosts than memories. In the kitchen, where Dad taught me to make his famous pancakes. The living room, where Grandpa Thomas graded papers in his favorite chair. My old bedroom, now stripped of Olivia's presence, waiting to become something new. The moving truck arrives at 9. 2 men with clipboards and careful hands, ready to pack away the last traces of Mother's carefully curated life. She left last week after the divorce papers arrived, Henry's final surprise. Turns out he had secrets of his own, ones that made Mother's schemes look amateur. I find her note in the study, placed carefully on Dad's old desk, the one piece of furniture she never dared remove. Morgan, some dreams cost too much. I understand that now. Take care of his house. It was always more yours than mine. Mother. No apology, no explanation. Just acceptance, finally, of what she lost in trying to gain something else. The storage unit key burns in my pocket, the one that led me to everything she tried to erase. Dad's photos, family albums, the vintage camera collection he started when I was 5, all safe, all waiting, all proof that some things can't be buried. My phone buzzes. An email from the university housing office. Roommate assignment, class schedule. A future taking shape. One Dad helped build before he left. One Grandpa Thomas protected until his last breath. Miss Carter? One of the movers appears in the doorway. Where would you like the furniture delivered? The women's shelter on 5th Street. I hand him the address. Everything except what's in the basement. He nods, doesn't ask questions. Maybe he's seen this before. Families splitting apart. Pieces being redistributed like cosmic justice. The basement door opens easily now, no more locks keeping me from my past. Down here, I've rebuilt what Mother tried to destroy. Dad's dark room, restored with equipment from his old studio. Grandpa's research desk, rescued from university storage. My future, taking shape in the foundations they left me. A final envelope waits on the desk. Different handwriting this time. Henry's. Inside, a cashier's check and a brief note. For your first year, Not because I owe you, but because your father would have done the same for Olivia. Some debts can't be measured in dollars. H. The check trembles in my hands. Revenge would be easy. Tear it up, send it back, reject this final attempt at, what, redemption? Manipulation? Understanding? But Dad's voice echoes in my head. The best revenge is living well. I tuck the check away, not accepting, not rejecting, just acknowledging that even in the darkest stories, light finds ways to seep through. Upstairs, the movers finish their work. The house creaks, adjusting to its new emptiness. But it's not empty, not really. It's waiting. Like it waited for Dad when he first bought it. Like it waited for me while Mother tried to remake it in her image. In the kitchen, I pin a new photo to the refrigerator, one I took at Grandpa's favorite spot in the park. The morning light catches 3 generations of smiles. Dad holding my first camera, Grandpa Thomas with his books, me between them, looking forward. The real estate agent arrives at noon, rental agreement in hand. A young family, she says, parents who want their kids to grow up in a home with history. They'll take good care of the place while I'm at college. I sign the papers on Dad's desk, using Grandpa's favorite pen. Outside, the moving truck pulls away, carrying Mother's perfect life to people who need it more than she did. My phone buzzes again. The coffee shop where I worked, offering my old job back for the summer. Sarah's name on the message makes me smile. Some anchors hold, even when everything else breaks free. I lock the front door one last time, but I keep the key. Not because I need it anymore, but because it reminds me of what Dad always said. Home isn't where you live, Morgan. It's what lives in you. The morning sun catches the brass key, making it shine like a promise kept.
The numbers jumped out at me from the bank statement like accusatory fingers. $20,000 transferred to an account I didn't recognize. Then another $15,000 2 weeks later. My hands trembled as I scrolled through my parents' online banking history, each new discovery hitting harder than the last. I'm Hope, and I just found out my golden boy brother is bleeding our parents dry. Everything okay, sweetie? My mother's voice floated up from downstairs. The coffee's getting cold. Coming, I called back, my voice steadier than I felt. I minimized the browser window, muscle memory from years of hiding things from my family. Not my secrets this time, Lucas's. The Sunday morning ritual at my parents' house hadn't changed in 20 years. Coffee, pastries, and endless conversations about Lucas's latest ventures. His football glory days. His business ideas. His perfect life with his perfect wife and perfect kid. I descended the stairs, each step heavy with the weight of what I'd discovered. Mom stood at the kitchen counter, arranging Danish pastries on her grandmother's china plate. Dad sat at the table, hidden behind his newspaper. Lucas called earlier, Mom said, beaming. He's finalizing that big deal he was telling us about. Isn't it exciting? The coffee turned bitter in my mouth. What kind of deal? Oh, you know your brother. She waved her hand dismissively. Always thinking big. He just needed to move some money around temporarily. Your father and I are happy to help. Dad lowered his paper slightly. Karen, maybe we shouldn't. Tom, he's our son. Of course we help. Her tone carried that familiar edge, the one that shut down any questioning of Lucas's choices. I gripped my coffee mug tighter. How much did he need? Just a small loan. Mom's smile flickered. Nothing for you to worry about. $50,000 isn't small, Mom. The silence that followed was deafening. Dad's newspaper crinkled as it lowered completely. How do you know that amount? Mom's voice had gone sharp. Because I saw the transfers. I saw them because I was helping Dad set up automatic bill payments, remember? The ones Lucas was supposed to handle months ago. You had no right to look at our private banking information. Mom's face flushed red. Someone had to. I stood up, my chair scraping against the floor. He's taking advantage of you both, and you're letting him. Your brother is building something important, Mom snapped. Sometimes businesses need capital. His last 3 businesses failed, Mom. The gym, the protein shake company, the sports app. Where did all that investment money go? Dad cleared his throat. Hope, maybe this isn't the time. When is the time, Dad? When they're broke. When Lucas has drained their retirement fund. That's enough. Mom slammed her hand on the counter. I won't sit here and listen to you attack your brother out of jealousy. The word hit like a slap. Jealousy. Their eternal explanation for any criticism I ever had of Lucas. Fine. I pulled out my phone and pulled up the banking app. Let me show you exactly what your precious son has been doing with your money. Mom turned away. I don't need to see anything. I trust Lucas. That's the problem. I looked at Dad, pleading, "You have to see this. Please." He met my eyes for a moment, then looked away. Your mother's right, Hope. Lucas wouldn't. Unbelievable. I grabbed my purse. You know what? Keep burying your heads in the sand. But don't come crying to me when you're working at Walmart in your 70s because your retirement fund mysteriously disappeared. I stormed out, slamming the door behind me. In my car, I sat gripping the steering wheel, my knuckles white. My phone buzzed, a text from Lucas. Stay out of my business, little sister. You have no idea what you're getting into. I stared at the message, a cold smile spreading across my face. Oh, brother dear, you have no idea what I'm capable of. This isn't about jealousy anymore. This is about justice. And I'm just getting started. Nina's apartment always smelled like lavender and coffee, a combination that usually calmed my nerves. Not tonight. I paced her living room, clutching my phone with Lucas's threatening text still displayed. He's really done it this time, Nina said, curled up on her couch. Have you talked to Ella? Lucas's perfect wife? She probably helped him plan it. I stopped pacing, remembering something. Although what? Last month at Tommy's birthday party, she seemed off. Kept checking her phone, barely touched her food. When Lucas started bragging about his new business venture, she practically flinched. Nina leaned forward. You think she knows? Before I could answer, my phone rang. Dad's name flashed on the screen. I answered on speaker. Hope, your mother and I discussed it, and we're having a family dinner tomorrow night. Lucas will be there. We need to clear the air. My stomach clenched. Clear the air? Or gang up on me? That's not fair. His voice carried that familiar note of defeat. We're trying to keep this family together. By letting Lucas steal from you? It's not stealing when we agreed to help him. Mom's voice cut in. She'd been listening the whole time. You're coming to dinner. 7 o'clock sharp. The line went dead. Nina raised an eyebrow. Perfect, I said, a plan forming. I'll bring proof. The next evening, I arrived at my parents' house armed with bank statements and screenshots. Lucas's car already occupied the driveway, his precious Mercedes that probably cost another chunk of our parents' savings. Inside, the tension was thick enough to choke on. Mom busied herself in the kitchen, Dad helped set the table, and Lucas sat in his usual spot, looking smug. Ella stood by the window, bouncing their son Tommy on her hip. Hope, Lucas said, his smile not reaching his eyes. Good to see you're still concerned about my finances. Someone has to be. I dropped my bag beside my chair. Since you're clearly not. Children, Mom warned from the kitchen. Not in front of Tommy. Ella suddenly spoke up. I should put him to bed upstairs. It's past his bedtime anyway. As she passed me, her eyes met mine for a split second. Something in her expression made me pause. Fear? So, Lucas said once Ella was gone. Let's hear it. What horrible accusations are you bringing to dinner? I pulled out the bank statements. These transfers, for starters. $50,000 in 2 weeks? That's just the beginning, isn't it? I told Mom and Dad about those transfers. He leaned back, relaxed. They're investments in my new tech startup. Everything's properly documented. Really? I slid another paper across the table. Because I called the bank. That account number you transferred to? It's a personal account in the Cayman Islands. The color drained from Lucas's face. Mom set down a casserole dish with enough force to rattle the plates. Hope, that's enough. How dare you investigate your brother like some kind of criminal? Because he is one. I stood up, hands shaking. He's not investing anything. He's stealing their retirement money and hiding it offshore. And I bet Ella has no idea. Leave my wife out of this, Lucas snarled, standing too. Why? Afraid she'll find out where the money's really going. A crash from upstairs made us all freeze. Ella appeared at the top of the stairs, white-faced. Tommy's fine, he just knocked over a lamp. But she held up her phone. Lucas, why is there an email about plane tickets to Buenos Aires? The silence that followed was deafening. Lucas's face transformed from anger to something I'd never seen before, pure panic. Ella, honey, I can explain. Explain what? I cut in. How you're planning to disappear with our parents' money. Dad finally spoke, his voice barely a whisper. Lucas, tell me this isn't true. But Lucas was already backing toward the door, his mask completely shattered. You don't understand. None of you understand what it's like trying to live up to everyone's expectations. I just needed a fresh start. With stolen money? Ella's voice cracked. Were you going to tell me about Argentina, or just disappear with our son? Mom sank into a chair, her world visibly crumbling. And in that moment, watching my perfect brother's life implode, I felt no satisfaction, only a hollow ache for what our family had become. Lucas bolted for the door. But this time, running away wouldn't save him. I had more evidence, and now I had something even more valuable, Ella's attention. The real war was just beginning. Grandpa Henry's bookstore always smelled like old paper and pipe tobacco, even though he'd quit smoking years ago. I found him in his usual spot, perched on a wooden stool behind the counter, examining an ancient ledger through his reading glasses. I need your help, I said, dropping a thick manila folder on the counter. He looked up, eyes sharp despite his age. This about Lucas? You knew. I've watched that boy take advantage of this family for years. He closed his ledger. Your grandmother would have seen right through him. She always said Lucas had your Uncle Richard's eyes, beautiful but dangerous. I spread out the documents I'd gathered. Bank statements, failed business records, loan applications. A pattern emerged, each venture more desperate than the last. Look at this. I pointed to a document. He took out his second mortgage on his house without telling Ella. And here, he's been lying about his company's revenue to get more loans. Grandpa Henry studied the papers, his expression darkening. There's more, isn't there? I hired a private investigator. I pulled out another document. Lucas has gambling debts. Big ones. The kind that attract dangerous people. The bell above the door chimed. Ella walked in, Tommy balanced on her hip. Her eyes were red-rimmed. I thought I'd find you here, she said. Lucas came home last night. He's saying you fabricated everything. Did he explain the plane tickets? She shifted Tommy to her other hip. He says it was a business trip he was planning. That you're twisting everything because you're jealous. Jealous. I laughed, the sound harsh even to my ears. Show her, Grandpa. He handed Ella the mortgage document. Her hands trembled as she read it. This can't be right, she whispered. We agreed no major financial decisions without consulting each other. There's more. I hesitated, then pulled out the gambling records. He owes people money, Ella. Dangerous people. The color drained from her face. How much? Over 200,000. Tommy started fussing. Grandpa Henry quickly produced a cookie from behind the counter. He'd always kept treats for young visitors. I should have seen it, Ella said, watching Tommy nibble the cookie. The late-night phone calls. The way he'd jump whenever his phone buzzed. Last week, I found him in our home office at 3 a.m, shredding documents. The bell chimed again. My mother burst in, face flushed with anger. Hope, what have you done? She demanded. Lucas is talking about leaving town because of your accusations. He says you're trying to destroy him. Karen, Grandpa Henry's voice carried a warning. Before you defend your son, you might want to see these. I don't need to see anything. You've always taken Hope's side. Mom. Ella's voice cut through the tension. Look at the documents. Please. For Tommy's sake. Something in Ella's tone made Mom pause. She took the papers with obvious reluctance. As she read, her hands began to shake. This must be a mistake. Lucas wouldn't. He already has, I said quietly. And if we don't stop him, he's going to drag this whole family down with him. The sound of screeching tires outside made us all jump. Through the store's front window, I saw Lucas's Mercedes pull up sharply. He followed me, Ella whispered, clutching Tommy closer. Lucas burst through the door, his usual polished appearance disheveled. His eyes landed on the documents spread across the counter. "You just couldn't leave it alone, could you?" He snarled at me. "Had to play detective, had to ruin everything." "You ruined it yourself." Grandpa Henry stood, his voice stern. "Now step back from my granddaughter." Lucas's phone buzzed. He checked it, and for a moment, raw fear flashed across his face. "You don't understand," he said, his voice cracking. "These people, they want their money by midnight. All of it. If I don't pay, then what?" I challenged. "More theft? More lies? Or were you planning to run and leave Ella and Tommy to deal with your mess?" The look in his eyes told me everything. My perfect brother, the golden child, was finally out of options. And for the first time in our lives, I held all the cards. The lawyer's office felt too small for the weight of what I was about to do. Papers scattered across his desk, affidavits, bank records, and a restraining order application that made my stomach turn. "Once we file these," Mr. Patterson said, tapping the documents, "there's no going back. Your brother could face serious charges." My phone buzzed again, the 15th call from Mom in 2 hours. I silenced it without looking. "What about my parents' money?" "We can freeze the accounts immediately," but he hesitated. "There's something else you should see." He slid a document across the desk. A deed transfer, dated 3 days ago. My parents' house, their home of 30 years, now belonged to one of Lucas's shell companies. The room tilted sideways. "They don't know, do they? Based on these signatures." He adjusted his glasses. "I'm almost certain they're forged." A knock at the door made us both jump. Dad stood there, looking older than I'd ever seen him. "Hope." His voice cracked. "We need to talk." Mr. Patterson gathered the papers. "I'll give you two a moment." Once we were alone, Dad collapsed into the vacant chair. "Your mother doesn't know I'm here. Did Lucas tell you about the house?" His blank expression answered my question. "Why are you here, Dad?" He pulled out an old envelope, yellowed with age. "I found this in your grandmother's things after she died. She made me promise to keep it safe." His hands shook as he opened it. "It's about Lucas." Inside was a DNA test from 28 years ago. My heart stopped as I read the results. "Lucas isn't yours? Your mother had an affair with Richard, my brother. The star athlete, the golden boy." He laughed bitterly. "I've spent 28 years trying to love a son who reminded me every day of my brother's betrayal. Does Lucas know?" "No, but I think he sensed it somehow. The way I could never quite." He trailed off, staring at his hands. "Why tell me now?" "Because I'm done protecting other people's lies." He straightened up. "I want to sign whatever papers you need. It's time someone in this family stood up for what's right." My phone buzzed again, this time a text from Ella. "Lucas is gone. Took everything from our accounts. Police are here." Before I could respond, another text came through, this one from Lucas himself. "You want to play hardball, little sister? Fine. Tell Mom and Dad to check their retirement accounts. All of them." My hands trembled as I pulled up the banking app. Every account, empty. "He's cleaned them out," I whispered. "Everything." Dad's face hardened. "Call your lawyer back in." "Wait." I stared at Lucas's text. Something felt off. He's trying to scare us into backing down. But why now? I dialed Nina. "Remember that background check you ran on Lucas's new business partner? The one who doesn't exist?" "Yeah, why?" "I need you to check something else. Look for any recent property purchases under his name." I heard keyboard clicks, then a sharp intake of breath. "Hope. He bought a plane ticket. Private charter. Tonight. Where to?" "Venezuela. No extradition treaty." Dad was already on his feet. "I'm calling the police." "No." I grabbed his arm. "If we spook him now, he'll run immediately. We need to play this smart." I turned back to the lawyer's documents. "How quickly can we freeze everything?" "With your father's signature?" "Within the hour." I met Dad's eyes. "Are you sure about this?" "Mom will never forgive you." Your mother's forgiveness stopped mattering the moment she chose Lucas's lies over our family's future. He picked up the pen. "Do it." As he signed the papers, I felt the weight of 24 years of being the overlooked child, the second best, the afterthought. But now, watching my father finally choose truth over comfort, I realized this wasn't about revenge anymore. This was about justice. And sometimes justice means burning everything down to save what matters most. I pulled out my phone and dialed one last number. Ella, get Tommy and pack a bag. I know where Lucas is going, and I need your help to stop him. The private airfield sprawled before us, dark except for the runway lights cutting through the fog. Ella clutched Tommy to her chest in the passenger seat while Nina worked her laptop in the back. His flight's scheduled for midnight, Nina said. We have 40 minutes. My phone lit up with Mom's face. After 3 days of silence, she was calling now. I answered on speaker. Where are you? Her voice cracked. Lucas just called. He's saying terrible things about your father, about some DNA test. Is it true? I kept my eyes on the airfield's entrance. About Uncle Richard? The silence stretched too long. We need to talk about this as a family. Like we talked about Lucas stealing your retirement? Or forging your signatures? Or, he's your brother. No. The word felt like glass in my throat. Apparently he's not. A security guard approached our car. I flashed Ella's ID. She'd called ahead, playing the dutiful wife one last time. You don't understand, Mom continued. Lucas is in trouble. Real trouble. There are men looking for him. Dangerous people. I know about the gambling debts. No, it's worse. Her voice dropped. They're saying he laundered money for them. If he doesn't deliver tonight. Headlights swept across the parking lot. A black SUV pulled up near the private hangar. I have to go. I hung up as two men in dark suits emerged from the SUV. They didn't move like businessmen. Those aren't debt collectors, Nina whispered. Hope, what are we doing here? My phone buzzed with a text from Lucas. If you're here to stop me, don't. These people will kill me if I don't deliver. Take Tommy, Ella said suddenly, passing her son to Nina. I'm going to talk to him. Ella, wait. But she was already out of the car, walking toward the hangar. I followed, my heart hammering. Lucas stepped out of the shadows, looking haunted. The men in suits tensed. It's just my wife, Lucas called to them. And my sister. 10 minutes, one man growled. Then we leave with or without the money. Ella reached Lucas first. You were going to leave us? I was going to send for you. His eyes darted between us. Once I figured things out. You mean once you laundered their money? I stepped closer. That's what this is about, isn't it? Your new business partner, he's with them. I didn't have a choice. They threatened Tommy. Don't you dare, Ella hissed. Don't use our son to justify this. A car door slammed behind us. Dad emerged from the darkness, followed by Grandpa Henry. Hope texted me your location, Grandpa said, his voice steel. Did you really think we'd let you run? Lucas backed away. You don't understand. If I don't get on that plane, then what? Dad stepped forward. More lies? More theft? When does it end, Lucas? When I'm dead? Lucas laughed, a hollow sound. Is that what you want? Dad? Or should I even call you that? The suited men moved closer. Time's up. Wait. I pulled out my phone, opened a banking app. I can transfer the money. Right now. Everyone froze. Hope, don't, Dad warned. It's my trust fund. I met Lucas's eyes. The one Grandma left me. The one you couldn't touch. Why would you? Lucas started. Because I'm giving you a choice. My finger hovered over the transfer button. Take the money, get on that plane. But if you do, you never contact this family again. You never threaten Ella or Tommy. You disappear completely. Or stay. Face what you've done. Let us help you the right way, with lawyers, with protection. But no more lies. The suited men shifted impatiently. Lucas looked at Ella, at Tommy in the car, then at the plane waiting in the darkness. Time to choose, brother. I held up my phone. Who are you really running from? The fog thickened around us as Lucas stared at the screen, his face reflecting the harsh glow of numbers that could buy his freedom or seal his fate. The police station's fluorescent lights made everything look sickly and unreal. I sat in the hard plastic chair, watching through one-way glass as Lucas talked to the detectives. Mom paced behind me, while Dad and Grandpa Henry sat silently in the corner. "He's going to prison," Mom whispered. "My baby is going to prison, and it's your fault." I didn't respond. My trust fund was gone, transferred to an account that would help Lucas make restitution. The money that was supposed to be my fresh start, my escape, now belonged to his victims. Detective Martinez stepped out of the interrogation room. "Your brother's naming names. Big ones. The kind that make people disappear. So what happens now?" Dad asked. "Witness protection, probably. For all of you." Mom collapsed into a chair. "All of us. These people he worked with, they don't leave loose ends." Martinez's face hardened. "They've already made threats against Tommy." Ella burst through the door, face streaked with tears. "They took him. They took my baby." The room exploded into chaos. Martinez barked orders into his radio while Mom screamed and Dad tried to calm Ella down. I grabbed Ella's shoulders. "Where?" "The babysitter. She said 2 men came with papers, said they were from child services." Ella's voice cracked. "I called the agency. They never sent anyone." My phone buzzed. "Unknown number. Your brother's testimony for the kid. 1 hour. Come alone." I showed Martinez the text. He shook his head. "We can't let you. It's my nephew." I stood up. "And my mess to fix. Hope Grandpa Henry caught my arm. This isn't your fault." But it was. I'd pushed Lucas into a corner, forced his hand. In my quest for justice, I'd put a child in danger. "I have a plan." I looked at Martinez. "But I need your help." 40 minutes later, I stood in the empty parking garage from the text, my heart thundering against my ribs. A black car pulled up, its windows tinted. A man stepped out, the same suit from the airfield. "Where's Lucas? Where's Tommy?" He nodded to the car. The back window lowered slightly, enough to see Tommy's sleeping face. "Sedated," the man said. "He'll wake up fine if you deliver. I need proof he's really okay. You're not calling the shots here." "No." I pulled out my phone. "Then I'll tell the FBI task force that's watching us right now to move in." "Your choice." The man's face tightened. He opened the car door, revealing Tommy strapped into a car seat. I stepped forward, checking his breathing. Steady. Relief flooded through me. "Happy? Now, where's Lucas?" I straightened up. "He's not coming." The man's gun appeared so fast I barely saw him move. "That wasn't the deal." "No, but this is." I held up my phone, showing him the live stream that had been running since I arrived. "Say hi to your followers." All 100,000 of them. His eyes widened as he saw the viewer count climbing. Amazing what a viral post about kidnapping can do. #SaveTommy is trending. I took another step forward. The whole city is watching. Police are probably already on their way. So here's my counteroffer. Leave Tommy, walk away, and this video doesn't include your face. You stupid bit. Police sirens wailed in the distance. The man's head snapped toward the sound. "Tick-tock," I said. He backed toward his car. "This isn't over." "Yes, it is. Because if anything happens to my family, any of them, this video shows exactly who to blame." He peeled out of the garage just as police cars swarmed the entrance. I grabbed Tommy from the car seat, holding him close as Martinez's team surrounded us. Targets fleeing north, Martinez barked into his radio. "You okay?" I nodded, watching Mom and Ella run toward us. But over their shoulders, I caught Lucas's eyes through the window of a police car. His face showed something I'd never seen before, respect. But it didn't matter anymore. I'd won, but the victory felt hollow. My family was fractured, possibly beyond repair. And somewhere in the city, dangerous men were plotting revenge. The war wasn't over. It was just changing battlefields. The safe house felt like a cage. 3 weeks of protective custody had worn us all down. Mom barely spoke, Dad buried himself in paperwork, and Ella spent hours staring out windows, Tommy clutched to her chest. Martinez arrived at sunset, his face grim. "We found them. The whole operation." But what?" He handed me a phone. "Lucas wants to talk to you. Only you." I stepped onto the back porch, away from the family's prying eyes. What do you want? They're going to kill me. Lucas's voice shook. The FBI raid missed some people. Important people. They think I'm the leak. Aren't you? Not the original one. He paused. Hope, I need to show you something. Something that changes everything. No meetings, Martinez said. It's about Dad. And Uncle Richard. And why Mom always protected me. His voice dropped. There's so much you don't know. The line went dead. A text followed with an address, the old high school football field where Lucas had been king. Martinez caught me at the door. You're not going. I showed him the text. You can watch from a distance. But he'll only talk to me. It's a trap. Probably. I grabbed my keys. But I need to know the truth. The football field was dark except for one set of lights illuminating the 50-yard line. Lucas stood there, looking small against the empty bleachers. I'm here, I called out. Talk. He turned, holding a manila envelope. Did you ever wonder why Mom couldn't let me fail? Why she pushed so hard? Because you were her golden boy. Because I was her shame. He pulled out old letters. Richard wasn't just Dad's brother. He was Mom's first love. The star athlete she was supposed to marry. Until his accident. Until she got pregnant with me. The accident happened after, when Richard found out she'd chosen Dad instead. My head spun. Why are you telling me this now? Because Mom's not just protecting me. She's protecting herself. Her guilt, her choices. He laughed bitterly. I was never supposed to be the good son. I was her penance. Movement in the shadows caught my eye. Men in dark clothes, moving closer. You brought them here. They followed me. His hands trembled. I'm sorry, Hope. They said they'd kill Ella and Tommy if I didn't. Bring the other leak? A new voice cut through the darkness. The man from the parking garage stepped into the light. We've been watching you, Hope. Your little live stream stunt cost us millions. More men emerged, forming a circle around us. Martinez and his team were nowhere in sight. You know what's funny? The man continued. Lucas here wasn't the leak. Your mother was. Lucas's head snapped up. What? Karen's been feeding information to the FBI for months. Trying to save her precious son. He raised his gun. Too bad she was too late. You're lying, Lucas whispered. Ask her yourself. Oh, wait. The man smiled. You won't get the chance. Time slowed. I saw his finger tighten on the trigger. Saw Lucas step forward, maybe to run, maybe to fight. Then the night exploded with light and sound. FBI, don't move. Spotlights flooded the field. Agents rappelled from the bleachers. Martinez's voice boomed through a megaphone. I dove for Lucas as gunfire erupted. We hit the turf hard. Mom really was trying to save you, I gasped. All this time. Lucas gripped my arm, eyes wide. Hope More shots. A bullet kicked up grass near our heads. Shut up and crawl, I hissed, pulling him toward the sideline. As we reached safety behind a SWAT van, Lucas looked at me differently, not with his usual condescension or recent fear, but with something like awe. You knew they'd follow me, he said. You used me as bait. I learned from the best. I checked him for wounds. Ready to tell the whole truth now? He nodded slowly, watching as agents led the captured men away. Think Mom will ever forgive us? Maybe. I helped him up. But first, we have to forgive her. Grandpa Henry's bookstore smelled different now, fresh paint mixed with the familiar scent of old paper. I straightened the grand reopening banner while he arranged books in the newly restored shelves. Your grandmother would have loved this, he said, adjusting his glasses. Using your settlement money to save her store. Our store, I corrected. Besides, blood money should go to something good. The criminal case had ended with plea deals and asset seizures. The crime syndicate crumbled, its leaders scattered or imprisoned. Our family's share of the recovered funds came with strings attached to therapy, supervision, accountability. The bell chimed. Lucas stepped in, looking smaller in his court-mandated monitoring anklet. Need help with those boxes? I nodded toward the back room. As he passed, I caught Mom watching through the window, hesitating at the door. Dad stood behind her, his hand on her shoulder. They'll come in when they're ready, Grandpa Henry said softly. Lucas returned with a stack of books. Where do you want these? Fiction section. Under R for redemption. He almost smiled. Subtle. Learned from the best. I handed him another box. How's the counseling going? Better than prison. He shelved books carefully, methodically. Ella's thinking about letting me have supervised visits with Tommy. Good. Hope. He paused, a book half-shelved. I've been trying to figure out when it all went wrong. Not the money or the lies, but us. When did I stop being your brother and start being your enemy? Maybe when I stopped being your sister and became your competition. The bell chimed again. Mom finally stepped inside, Dad close behind. She looked around the restored store, tears in her eyes. Your grandmother's first edition collection, she whispered, touching the glass display case. You found them? In the attic, Grandpa Henry said, where you hid them when the creditors came for Richard's debts. Mom's hand trembled. I was trying to protect everyone. By lying, Dad's voice was gentle but firm. Or by making Lucas into something he wasn't? Both. She turned to Lucas. I thought if I could make you perfect, it would erase my mistakes. Instead, I just repeated them. Lucas stepped toward her, then stopped, uncertain. I moved between them, taking Mom's hand and placing it in Lucas's. Perfect is overrated, I said. Try honest instead. The door chimed one last time. Nina walked in with Tommy, returning from their ice cream run. The toddler squealed at the sight of Lucas, but stayed by Nina's side, still cautious around his father. Hey, champ, Lucas said softly. Want to help me put some books away? Tommy looked at Nina, who nodded. He took a tentative step toward Lucas. I turned away, giving them space, and found Dad studying the old family photos on the wall, Mom and Uncle Richard as teenagers, Grandma and Grandpa on their wedding day, Lucas and me as kids. I should have protected you both, he said. From Karen's guilt, from Richard's shadow, from my own cowardice. We protect ourselves now. I straightened a crooked frame. And maybe each other when we can. Speaking of protection, Grandpa Henry called from the counter, these books won't shelve themselves. Family project? One by one, they moved toward the boxes, Mom and Dad, Lucas with Tommy trailing behind, Nina grabbing the lighter loads. We worked in comfortable silence, finding our rhythms, respecting our spaces. I watched them from the ladder as I stalked the top shelves. My family, broken and healing, learning to exist in the truth rather than perfect lies. The revenge I'd sought had transformed into something else, not forgiveness exactly, but understanding. The last book in my hand was Grandma's favorite, worn and dog-eared. Inside the cover, her handwriting, the truth may hurt, but lies leave scars. I placed it carefully on the shelf, between the past we couldn't change and the future we'd have to build. Some stories end with perfect resolution, with all wounds healed and all sins forgiven. This wasn't one of them, but maybe that made it more true.
I stare at the half-empty closet, counting the empty hangers like Morse code signals spelling out disaster. 15 years of marriage reduced to the rhythmic scraping of metal on metal as Derek yanks his clothes free, one garment at a time. You're really doing this? My voice sounds foreign, like it's coming from somewhere outside my body. Just like that? He doesn't look at me, just keeps methodically emptying his side of the closet. The expensive suits I helped him pick for client meetings. The casual shirts Maya and I got him last Father's Day. All of it. Going into a sleek black suitcase that I've never seen before. I'm Alondra, and until 20 minutes ago I thought I was living someone else's life. A good life. The kind where your husband doesn't pack his bags on a random Tuesday evening while your 8-year-old daughter is at her piano lesson. Derek, I grab one of his shirts before he can add it to the pile. At least tell me why. He finally meets my eyes, and what I see there makes my stomach turn. Nothing. No guilt, no anger, no regret. Just empty calculation, like he's reviewing a business proposal. It's not working anymore, he says, tugging the shirt from my grip. You know that as well as I do. No, I really don't. My fingers curl into fists at my sides. What I know is that yesterday, we were planning Maya's birthday party. And today, you're walking out on us without even... Don't make this harder than it needs to be. He zips the suitcase with a finality that echoes through the room. I'll have my lawyer contact you about arrangements. Lawyer? The word tastes like poison. You already have a lawyer? He checks his watch, the one I gave him for our 10th anniversary, and sighs like I'm an employee who's making him late for a meeting. I need to go. Maya will be home soon, and it's better if I'm not here. Better for who? I step between him and the door. Because it's not better for her. And it's certainly not better for me to explain to our daughter why her father disappeared without saying goodbye. I'll call her tomorrow. He sidesteps me with practiced ease, dragging the suitcase behind him. Once things have settled, I follow him down the stairs, my mind racing through possibilities. An affair? Financial troubles? But nothing explains this cold, calculated exit. The Derek I knew, would never. The front door opens, and my heart stops. Maya stands there, her piano books clutched to her chest, eyes wide as she takes in the scene. Her father with his suitcase. Her mother on the verge of tears. Daddy? Her voice is small, uncertain. Where are you going? Derek freezes, his hand still on the doorknob. For a moment, I see a crack in his facade, a flicker of something that might be pain. Then it's gone, replaced by that same empty professionalism. I have to go away for a while, sweetheart. I'll call you tomorrow, okay? He doesn't wait for her response, doesn't hug her goodbye, just walks past her to the waiting taxi I hadn't even noticed until now. Maya drops her books and runs after him. Daddy, wait! I catch her before she can reach the sidewalk, holding her as she struggles. We watch together as Derek loads his suitcase into the trunk, gets into the back seat, and disappears down our tree-lined street without a backward glance. Maya's small body shakes with sobs against mine. I should be crying too, but something else is taking root inside me. Something hot and sharp and dangerous. Because now I know this wasn't a sudden decision. This was planned, calculated, every detail arranged in advance, from the taxi to the lawyer to the timing of his exit. And as I stand there, holding my daughter while our world crumbles around us, I make a promise to myself. Derek thinks he's written the ending to our story, but he's wrong. This isn't an ending at all, it's a declaration of war. The first thing I notice when I walk into my mother's design studio is the stack of accounting papers on her desk. Evelyn never leaves paperwork visible. It ruins the aesthetic, she always says. But today they're there, arranged in neat piles like evidence at a crime scene. You've been crying, she says, rising from her ergonomic chair. Sit down before you collapse. I sink into the leather sofa, the one she imported from Milan last year. Maya's curled up in the corner, absorbed in her tablet, headphones blocking out our adult conversations. Just like at home, she's retreated into her own world since Derek left 3 days ago. He's emptied our joint account. The words taste like battery acid. Every penny, Mother, even Maya's college fund. Evelyn's perfectly manicured nails drum against her desk. I warned you about joint accounts when you married him. A woman should always... Not now. I press my fingers to my temples. I need help, not lectures. She studies me for a moment, then pulls out a manila envelope. I had my accountant prepare these after your call yesterday. Financial records, property assessments, everything we'll need to protect your assets. Of course she did. Evelyn's always 3 steps ahead, especially when it comes to money. It's how she built her empire after my father died, turning a small interior design business into a multi-million-dollar firm. There's something else. She slides a piece of paper across the desk. Derek's restaurant. Look at the ownership structure. I scan the document, then read it again. This can't be right. He told me he owns 60%. He owns 25%, and he's leveraged even that against personal loans. She leans forward. Alondra, darling, when was the last time you actually looked at your family's finances? The question hits like a slap. I'd trusted Derek to handle the money while I focused on my design career in Maya. He'd always said he had everything under control, that his restaurant was thriving. Oh God! A memory surfaces. Derek's face 2 months ago when I mentioned expanding my freelance business. The flash of something in his eyes. Not pride, not support. He resented me. Men often do. Evelyn's voice carries years of hard-won wisdom. especially when their wives outshine them. My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. We need to talk about Derek. Meet me at Riverside Park, 7 p.m. Liam. Derek's friend? Evelyn asks, reading over my shoulder. The one who helped him start the restaurant? I nod, remembering Liam's too wide smile at our dinner parties, the way he and Derek would huddle in corners, conversations stopping when I approached. He knows something. Then you need to know it too. Evelyn opens her desk drawer and removes a small recorder. Take this and remember what I taught you. Information is power. Maya looks up from her tablet, suddenly alert. Is Daddy in trouble? The question hangs in the air like smoke. I cross to the sofa and pull her close, breathing in the strawberry scent of her shampoo. No, baby. We're just trying to understand some grown-up things. He didn't call yesterday, she whispers. He promised. Evelyn's expression hardens. She reaches for her phone, but I shake my head. Let Derek dig his own grave with broken promises. Each one is another nail in the coffin of Maya's trust in him. I should go. I stand, taking the recorder and envelope. The park isn't far, but I want to scope it out before meeting Liam. Be careful! Evelyn's warning follows me to the door. Men like Derek don't just walk away without a reason. Whatever you find out tonight, it's probably worse than you imagine. I pause at the threshold, looking back at Maya. She's returned to her tablet, but her shoulders are tense, her small frame rigid with unspoken anxiety. Mother? I keep my voice low. If anything happens to me, nothing will happen. She cuts me off with trademark certainty. But Maya can stay with me tonight. Go find out what Derek's been hiding. As I drive toward Riverside Park, the recorder heavy in my pocket, I realize Evelyn's right. This isn't just about a failed marriage or wounded pride anymore. Derek's running from something, or toward something, and whatever it is, he thought it was worth destroying our family to protect. By sunset, I'll know what that something is. And then? Then I'll make him wish he'd never underestimated me. Riverside Park feels different after sunset. The shadows stretch longer, darker, hiding things that shouldn't exist in decent neighborhoods, like the truth I'm about to learn. Liam's already waiting at the agreed spot, his silhouette unmistakable against the river's gleam. He's wearing the same expensive suit he always does. But something's off. The confidence is gone, replaced by nervous energy as he paces near the railing. You're early, he says when I approach. His eyes dart around like he's expecting company. Did anyone follow you? I press record on the device in my pocket. Who would be following me, Liam? He laughs, but it's hollow. You really don't know anything, do you? Derek always said you were focused elsewhere. Then enlighten me. I lean against the railing, forcing casualness I don't feel. Start with why my husband emptied our accounts before disappearing. Because he needed capital. Liam loosens his tie. The restaurant's just a front, Alondra. Has been for 2 years now. The words hit like ice water. A front for what? Money laundering mainly. Some other things. He pulls out a cigarette, hands shaking as he lights it. The Castillo family needed legitimate businesses to clean their cash. Derek needed investors. It seemed perfect until... The Castillos? My voice sounds distant, unreal. The same ones from the news? The drug cartel? Keep your voice down! Liam glances over his shoulder. Look, I'm only telling you this because you deserve to know. Derek's in deep. They're squeezing him for more than he can deliver, and now he's running. But they'll find him. They always do. A jogger passes by. We fall silent until she's gone. But my mind is screaming. Drug money, cartels. My husband, the man who read bedtime stories to our daughter, was laundering money for criminals. That's why he left us? The recorder feels heavy in my pocket. To protect his criminal partners? To protect you. Liam takes a long drag. They started asking questions about you, your mother's business, the properties she owns. Derek knew they were looking for new opportunities to expand their operation. My blood runs cold. They were targeting my mother's firm? Are targeting, present tense. He drops the cigarette, crushing it under his shoe. Derek thought if he disappeared, they'd focus on finding him instead of exploring other ventures. But he was wrong. They're still interested in Evelyn's business. Perfect setup for their needs, high-end clients, international transactions. A flash of movement catches my eye. A black SUV crawling past the park entrance. Liam sees it too. I shouldn't be here. He straightens his jacket. Neither should you. Go home, Alondra. Take Maya and leave town for a while, please. Wait. I grab his arm. There's more you're not telling me. He pulls away, but not before I see real fear in his eyes. Ask Derek about Sophie. Ask him what really happened to the original restaurant investors. But don't ask me anything else. I've said too much already. He walks away quickly, disappearing into the darkness. I stand there, frozen, as another black SUV drives past. Same model, different plates. My phone buzzes. A text from Derek. Stop asking questions. You're putting everyone in danger. I type back with shaking fingers. You put us in danger the moment you got involved with criminals. His response comes instantly. You don't understand. I did it for us, for the lifestyle you wanted. Rage floods my system, hot and clarifying. The lifestyle I wanted? I delete his number without responding. The recorder clicks off in my pocket. Memory full. I have what I need now. Evidence. Names. Connections. But knowledge isn't power when it can get you killed. My phone buzzes again. Unknown number. Mrs. Martinez, we should discuss your mother's business portfolio. Dinner tomorrow? I delete that too. Hands steady now. They're watching. Have been watching. Every move, every conversation, every possibility for profit or exploitation. Derek didn't just betray our marriage, he painted targets on all our backs. The third black SUV rolls past as I walk to my car. I don't run, don't look around, just walk, keys gripped between my knuckles, mind already racing ahead. I know what I have to do now. It's not enough to expose Derek anymore. I have to destroy him completely, before he can drag anyone else into his web of lies. Before the Castillos decide my mother's business is too tempting to resist. Before Maya learns that her father didn't just abandon us, he sacrificed us. The restaurant's Yelp page glows on my laptop screen, cursor hovering over the post review button. 3 stars, just enough to seem legitimate, not enough to help business. The comment I've crafted is subtle. Hints about food safety concerns, questions about financial stability. Nothing provably false, but deadly in its implications. My finger trembles above the mouse. This is wrong, petty, beneath me. I click post anyway. Mommy? Maya's voice startles me. She stands in my home office doorway, clutching her tablet. Someone at school said Daddy's restaurant might close. I close the laptop too quickly. Sometimes businesses have problems, sweetheart. It doesn't mean... Is that why those men were watching our house? The question stops my breath. What men? In the black car. She hugs the tablet tighter. They were there when I got home from piano yesterday, and this morning. My hands start shaking. I grab my phone, pulling up the security app I installed last week. The footage shows exactly what she described. A black SUV, different from the ones at the park, but just as ominous. The doorbell rings. Through my office window, I see Evelyn's Mercedes in the driveway. She never visits unannounced. Maya, go to your room, lock the door. Don't come out until I call you. She hesitates. Like when Daddy and Uncle Liam had their special meetings? The implications of that hit me like a punch. How much has my 8-year-old seen? How long has she been carrying these secrets? Evelyn's already letting herself in when I reach the foyer. Her face is ash gray. We have a problem. She throws a manila envelope on the coffee table. Inside are photos. Derek at various meetings, handling packages, exchanging envelopes, and more recent ones, me at Riverside Park with Liam, Maya at school, Evelyn leaving her office. They came with this. She hands me a business card. Expensive stock, embossed lettering. Sophie Chen, Business Development Director. Derek's Sophie? My laugh sounds hysterical even to me. She works for them? She works for everyone. Evelyn sinks onto the sofa. I did some digging. She specializes in identifying vulnerable businesses for takeover. The restaurant was just her way in. Now she set her sights on my firm. The pieces clicked together. That's why Derek ran. He realized she was using him to get to you. Using both of you. Evelyn's voice hardens. Your marriage problems made you perfect targets. A desperate husband, a successful wife with connections to bigger opportunities. My phone buzzes. A new review on the restaurant's page. Wonderful atmosphere, excellent service. Don't believe the negative reviews. They're from a bitter ex-wife trying to destroy a good man's business. Shame on you, Alondra. Sophie's signature move, turning the tables, making me look like the villain. I have to shut down the review campaign, I say, reaching for my laptop. It's too late. Evelyn pulls out more photos. They've been documenting everything. Every fake review, every call to health inspectors, every meeting with competitors. They'll use it all to discredit you if you try to expose them. Then what do? She meets my eyes. We give them what they want, on our terms. Your business? The thought makes me sick. Everything you've built? Better to lose it controlled than have it stolen. She grips my hand. But first, we need leverage. Something they want more than my company. My phone buzzes again. Derek, stop digging, please. You don't know what Sophie is capable of. But I'm starting to understand exactly what she's capable of. And what I'm capable of, too. Maya, I call out. You can come down now. She appears at the top of the stairs, tablet in hand. I recorded them, she says quietly. The men in the car, and Uncle Liam's meetings with Daddy. I have videos. Evelyn and I exchange looks. My brilliant, observant daughter, gathering evidence while we thought she was playing games. Send them to my secure server, Evelyn says, then delete everything from your device. I pull Maya close, feeling her small heart racing against mine. We're going to fix this, I promise. But not with fake reviews or subtle threats. We're going to destroy them the way they tried to destroy us. From the inside out. Through the window, I spot the black SUV crawling past our house again. Let them watch. Let them think they have us trapped. They don't know what a mother is capable of when her family is threatened, and they're about to find out. The restaurant's parking lot is half empty when I pull in, exactly as planned. 3 weeks of carefully orchestrated reviews, whispered rumors, and anonymous tips to health inspectors have done their work. Derek's empire is crumbling, brick by carefully undermined brick. I shouldn't be here, but I need to see it for myself. Through the window, I spot Sophie working the floor, her designer dress incongruous among the casual diners. She moves with practiced grace, touching shoulders, laughing at jokes, building allies. The perfect hostess, just like she was the perfect mistress. My phone vibrates. Evelyn. Meeting set with Castillo representatives tomorrow. Don't do anything to jeopardize it. Too late. I'm already pushing through the door, bell chiming my arrival. Sophie's smile freezes when she sees me. We're fully booked. Doesn't look that way. I gesture at the empty tables. Slow night? Business fluctuates. Her perfectly manicured nails drum against the hostess stand. But you'd know all about that, wouldn't you? A waiter approaches, then retreats at Sophie's sharp gesture. The remaining customers studiously avoid looking our way. Where is he? I keep my voice low, controlled. Derek needs to sign the divorce papers. He's dealing with more important matters. She steps closer, voice dropping, like saving his business from his vindictive ex-wife's sabotage campaign. Funny, I thought he'd be busy explaining to the Castillos why their investment is tanking. Her smile slips, just for a moment. You have no idea what game you're playing, don't I? I pull out my phone, showing her Maya's recordings. My daughter's quite the documentarian. These would make fascinating viewing for the health department, or the police, or the media. The color drains from her face. You wouldn't dare. Try me. I swipe to another video, Sophie herself, meeting with known Castillo associates. I'm not the desperate housewife you thought you could manipulate. And Derek isn't the only one with something to lose. The kitchen doors burst open. Derek storms out, face twisted with rage and fear. What are you doing here? Getting your attention. I turn the phone toward him. Maya saw everything, Derek. Every meeting, every package, every lie. He grabs my arm, pulling me toward his office. Sophie follows, heels clicking like warning shots. You're going to get us all killed, he hisses once the door closes. You did that when you involved our family with criminals. I did it to keep up with you. His control shatters. Your success, your mother's connections, your perfect life. Do you know what it's like living in that shadow? Poor Derek. My laugh sounds foreign, bitter. So threatened by your wife's success that you turned to crime. Was Sophie part of the original plan, or just a bonus? Sophie steps between us. I approached him. The restaurant was perfect for our needs. And Derek? She touches his arm possessively. Derek was perfect too, so eager to prove himself. By betraying everything he claimed to love. By surviving. Derek slumps into his chair. The Castillos own me now. They own all of us. Not me. I set my phone on his desk, playing Maya's videos. And not my daughter. Sign the papers, Derek. Walk away, or these go public. Sophie's laugh is cold. You'd risk everything? Your mother's business? Your daughter's safety? I already have a plan for that. I meet Derek's eyes. Remember what you always said about me? That I was too focused, too driven? You were right. And now that focus is on destroying you. You can't win this, he whispers. Watch me. The office door opens. Liam stands there, face grim. They're here. Through the window, I see 3 black SUVs pulling into the parking lot. The same ones that have been watching my house, following Maya. Sophie straightens her dress. Right on schedule. What did you do? Derek's voice shakes. Called in the cavalry? She smirks at me. Let's see how focused you are when facing the real players, Alondra. I should be terrified. Instead, a strange calm settles over me. This is what I've been waiting for. The moment when all the pieces align. Perfect timing. I press send on the email I composed this morning. Because I just sent copies of everything. The videos, the financial records, the proof of Sophie's double dealing. To every news outlet in the state. The color drains from Sophie's face. Derek lunges for my phone. Too late. The game is changing. And this time I'm writing the rules. The Castillo's men don't look like criminals. They wear tailored suits and polite smiles as they escort me into the restaurant's private dining room. Like bankers. Like businessmen. Like Derek. Before I knew what he really was. Their leader sits at the head of the table, fingers steepled. Mrs. Martinez, your email campaign was impressive. Alondra, please. I take the offered seat, hands steady despite everything. And it wasn't a campaign, just insurance. Sophie hovers by the door, her perfect composure cracking. Derek stands behind her, face ashen. The morning news plays silently on a wall-mounted TV, showing footage of police raids at multiple restaurants across the city. Insurance. The man, I still don't know his name, slides a tablet across the table. Like these videos your daughter recorded? My heart stops. On screen, Maya's face appears, filming through her bedroom window. Recent footage from last night. Don't! Derek starts forward, but Sophie grabs his arm. Your daughter has quite an eye for detail. The man's smile doesn't reach his eyes. It would be a shame if something happened to stifle her creative pursuits. The threat hangs in the air like smoke. I taste copper, realize I've bitten through my lip. What do you want? The same thing we've always wanted. Your mother's business, its connections, its potential. He gestures expansively. Derek was supposed to facilitate that transition smoothly. When he failed, Sophie stepped in. Now here we are making things complicated. My phone buzzes. Evelyn, where are you? The FBI is here. The man's smile widens. Ah, right on schedule. Your mother made the call, I assume? What? We've been working with Evelyn for months. Sophie steps forward, triumphant. Who do you think introduced me to Derek? We needed someone close to you, someone who could help guide you toward cooperation. The room tilts sideways. My mother wouldn't... Your mother is a businesswoman. The man's voice is almost gentle. She understands the value of strategic partnerships, unlike you, with your messy emotions and desperate revenge plots. The TV catches my eye again. Breaking news banner. Local designer linked to money laundering operation. My face appears on screen, followed by Derek's, then Maya's school photo. No! The word comes out strangled. You can't! We already have. He stands, straightening his jacket. Your reputation is ruined. Your daughter's safety is compromised. Your mother's cooperation is secured. The only question is, will you finally stop fighting? Derek moves toward me, face twisted with genuine anguish. I tried to warn you. I tried to protect you by leaving. By running away. I spit back. Like always. Enough. The man's voice cuts through the tension. Mrs. Martinez, you have 1 hour to sign over your shares in your mother's company. After that, he glances at the tablet, still showing Maya's face. Well, my phone buzzes again. Unknown number. Maya is safe. Trust no one. Wait for signal. I almost laugh. Trust no one? Too late. My husband betrayed me. My mother sold me out. Even my revenge has been turned against me. I'll need to review the paperwork, I say, voice hollow. Of course. He signals, and a thick contract appears. Take your time. Sophie will stay with you. They file out, leaving Sophie standing guard. Derek hesitates at the door. I'm sorry, he whispers. I never wanted... Get out. The door closes. Sophie smirks. You should have stayed in your lane, Alondra. Focused on your little design projects instead of playing detective. I stare at the contract, mind racing. The FBI is with my mother. Maya is supposedly safe. Everything I thought I knew about my family, my marriage, my life, has been a carefully constructed lie. But there's one truth they don't know, one card I haven't played. My phone buzzes one final time. The signal I've been waiting for. Package delivered. Countdown started. I look up at Sophie, managing a broken smile. You're right. I should have stayed in my lane. She frowns, sensing something in my tone. But then again, I reach for the contract. I've always been better at demolition than design. The first explosion rocks the building's foundation, right on schedule. Maya's videos weren't the only insurance I had in place. Sometimes, to win the game, you have to burn down the board. Smoke fills the private dining room as the second explosion rocks the building. Sophie stumbles, her perfect composure finally cracking. Through the chaos, I hear sirens approaching. What did you do? She lunges for me, but I'm already moving. The sprinkler system activates, drenching everything, including the surveillance equipment I spotted earlier. Water shorts out the cameras, leaving us truly alone for the first time. The same thing you did. I grab her arm before she can reach the door. I played everyone against each other. The door bursts open. Derek rushes in, coughing from the smoke. The Castillos are trapped in the kitchen. FBI surrounding the building. FBI? Sophie's laugh turns hysterical. You stupid bitch, you think the FBI can touch them? They own half the Bureau? I cut her off. No, but the CIA's International Trafficking Division? That's different. Her face goes slack. Behind her, Derek's eyes widen with understanding. Those weren't just restaurant supply deliveries you were coordinating, I continue. Maya recorded everything, every package, every coded conversation. My mother saw the patterns months ago. Evelyn was working with us, Sophie snarls. No! I pull out my phone, showing her the real messages from my mother. She was working with federal agents, setting you up, setting all of you up. Derek sags against the wall. That's why she introduced me to Sophie, why she encouraged the restaurant deal. My own mother used my husband as bait. The words still taste bitter, and then used my revenge as cover for the investigation. Another explosion, closer this time. The building groans ominously. We need to get out. Derek reaches for me, but I step back. You're not going anywhere. Sophie pulls a gun from her purse. Neither of you are leaving until... The ceiling crashes down between us. Through the gap, I see Maya's favorite stuffed bear in the debris. The one she always kept in Derek's office. The one I helped her hide a microphone in months ago. You bugged my office? Derek's voice cracks. Using our daughter? She volunteered. The truth hurts us both. After she saw you hitting Sophie that night, she knew then that you weren't just weak, Derek. You were dangerous. Sophie's gun wavers. He never... Check your security footage. Maya caught it all. The fights, the threats, the real reason Derek ran. I lock eyes with my husband. You weren't protecting us by leaving. You were protecting yourself. The floor shifts beneath us. Emergency lights cast everything in surreal red shadows. It doesn't matter now. Sophie aims the gun at my chest. You've ruined everything. No. I step forward, letting her see the detonator in my hand. I finished what my mother started. The CIA has their evidence, the Castillos are trapped, and that gun won't help you when the next charge goes off. Derek lunges at Sophie, wrestling for the weapon. They crash into the table as FBI agents swarm through the broken door. "Federal agents, drop the weapon!" Sophie fires wildly. Derek screams. The ceiling groans. I dive through the chaos, slamming the detonator trigger just as Sophie turns the gun toward me. The final explosion drowns everything in white noise and debris. When the dust settles, Sophie lies unconscious under fallen beams. Derek clutches his bleeding shoulder, staring at me with something between fear and awe. "Maya?" His voice shakes. "Safe. With my mother's security team." I step over Sophie's still form. "She'll testify against you both." "Alondra, Save it." I meet his eyes one last time. "You chose your path, now I've chosen mine." FBI agents secure Sophie as paramedics rush in. Through the destroyed wall, I see the Castillo leader being led away in handcuffs, my mother watching from beside a CIA operative. "Mrs. Martinez?" An agent touches my arm. "We'll need your statement." I nod, watching Derek being handcuffed despite his injury. He looks small now, broken. Nothing like the man I married, nothing like the monster he became. My phone buzzes one last time. "Maya." "Did we win, Mom?" I stare at the message, thinking of all we've lost, all we've gained, the price of revenge, and the cost of justice. "Yes, baby," I type back. "We won." But as they lead Derek away, I wonder what winning really means when victory tastes like ashes and smoke. The courthouse steps feel colder in autumn. Maya clutches my hand as we watch Derek being led away in handcuffs, his designer suit replaced by prison orange. He doesn't look back. "Will Daddy ever come home?" she asks, not for the first time. "No, baby." I squeeze her hand. "But that's not your fault." She nods, wise beyond her years. "I know, it's not yours either." The words hit harder than any testimony. Through the trial, I'd watched my daughter transform from victim to witness. Her recordings helping convict not just Derek and Sophie, but half the Castillo organization. She never wavered, never broke, just stated facts in that clear child's voice that made every jury member lean forward. Evelyn waits by her car, keeping her distance until Derek's transport disappears around the corner. When she approaches, her heels click like metronome beats marking time. "The CIA sends their thanks," she says, as if we're discussing a successful dinner party. The evidence was comprehensive. 15 years. The sentence echoes in my head. Was it worth it? Using your own family as bait? She reaches for Maya, who steps behind me. Another small gesture that speaks volumes. "I protected you the only way I knew how." Evelyn's perfect makeup can't hide her age today. "By controlling the danger rather than letting it control us. Like Derek tried to control me? Like Sophie tried to control him?" The laugh catches in my throat. "We're all just puppets, pulling each other's strings." Maya tugs my sleeve, pointing across the street. Through the autumn leaves, I spot a black SUV idling. Not the Castillos this time. They're finished. But there will always be others. Other criminals, other schemes, other families to destroy. "I'm selling the firm," Evelyn announces suddenly. "Moving to Paris. You should come with me, both of you. Start fresh." "Run away?" I meet her eyes. "Like Derek did?" She flinches. For the first time, I see real regret in her expression. "I never meant..." "I know what you meant." I take Maya's hand again. But we're done running, done hiding, done letting fear control us. "The house feels different without the security detail," Maya says later that night, helping me pack Derek's remaining belongings for donation. Quieter. I pause, holding one of his old ties. The silk is smooth under my fingers, like the lies he used to tell. "Different good or different bad?" She considers this, arranging her stuffed animals on the bed we bought to replace the one that reminded her of watching Derek through her window. "Different true. The wisdom of children." I drop the tie in the donation box, noting how Maya relaxes when it's out of sight. She's been sleeping better since the trial, drawing pictures that don't feature shadowy figures or hidden cameras. My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. "You won. But at what cost?" Sophie's final taunt from wherever she's hiding after making bail. I delete it without responding, but the question lingers. The cost? A marriage. A mother-daughter relationship. Maya's innocence. My own. The gain. Freedom. Truth. A daughter who knows her strength. A mother who finally understands her own. Mom? Maya holds up Derek's old watch. My anniversary gift to him. Can we burn this one? I should say no. Should teach her about forgiveness, about rising above revenge. Instead, I grab the lighter fluid from the garage. We build a small fire in the backyard fire pit, watching as the watch face melts and warps. Maya adds the tie I couldn't donate. I throw in my wedding ring. Is this wrong? She asks, watching the flames consume our past. Maybe. I pull her close. But sometimes wrong feels right, and right feels wrong, and all we can do is choose our own path. She nods, understanding more than I did at twice her age. Like choosing to help the CIA instead of running away? Like choosing to be strong instead of safe? The fire crackles, sending sparks into the night sky. Somewhere out there, Evelyn is planning her escape to Paris. Derek is starting his prison sentence. Sophie is plotting her next move. But here, in this moment, Maya and I are choosing something different. Not revenge, not justice, just truth, in all its messy, complicated glory. The truth about strength, about family, about the fine line between protection and control. And maybe that's the greatest revenge of all.
The lock clicked open with a familiar sound, but everything else felt wrong. Mother's house key felt heavier in my hand, weighted with finality. I pushed open the front door, and the wrongness hit me like a physical force. Gone was the gentle scent of lavender that had always perfumed these halls. Instead, an artificial pine freshener assaulted my nose. The walls, once adorned with my mother's cherished art collection, now displayed generic landscape prints in gaudy gold frames. "Jenna, we weren't expecting you until tomorrow." My father's voice carried from the kitchen, casual, as if he hadn't abandoned us 10 years ago. I'm Jenna, and this was supposed to be my homecoming. Instead, I stood frozen in my mother's foyer. No, my foyer now, staring at the stranger who shared my DNA. "Surprise," I said, my voice flat. "Where's Laura?" "She's upstairs, settling in. Listen, sweetheart." "Don't call me that." The words shot out before I could stop them. "Why are you here, Mark?" He flinched at the use of his first name. Good. Let him feel a fraction of the pain he'd caused. "Your mother and I had an arrangement," he said, running his hand through his graying hair. "Laura and I would help maintain the property in her final months." Final months? I stepped closer, my boots clicking against the hardwood floors Mother had lovingly restored. "She died suddenly. There were no final months." A shadow crossed his face. "Well, yes, but—" "Mark, who are you talking to?" Laura's voice drifted down the stairs, followed by her perfectly manicured presence. Her face tightened when she saw me. "Oh, Jenna, how unexpected." "It's my house," I said. "I don't need an invitation." Laura's laugh was like breaking glass. "Of course not, dear. We're just trying to help. Your mother would have wanted—" "Don't," my voice shook. "Don't you dare tell me what my mother would have wanted." "Now, Jenna." Mark stepped between us, playing peacemaker like he hadn't been the one to shatter our family in the first place. "We thought it would be easier if we were already moved in when you arrived, help you transition." "Moved in?" The words didn't make sense. "You're not staying here." "Actually," Laura smiled, all teeth in triumph, "we are. Your father and I discussed it, and we think it's best if we all live here together, as a family." A door creaked upstairs, and a young woman appeared. Emily, my half-sister, the replacement child. She looked between us, anxiety written across her features. "The will hasn't even been read," I said, my hands clenching into fists. "This is my inheritance." "About that," Mark cleared his throat. "There might be some complications." The world tilted sideways. "What complications?" "Nothing for you to worry about right now," Laura cut in smoothly. "Why don't you take your old room? We've kept it exactly as you left it." I looked at her, really looked at her. The careful makeup, the expensive clothes, the calculating eyes. Then at Mark, shifting his weight, avoiding my gaze. Finally, at Emily, who seemed to be trying to disappear into the wallpaper. My mother's death certificate listed natural causes, I said slowly. But there was nothing natural about it, was there? The silence that followed was deafening. I think, Laura said finally, her voice honey-sweet but her eyes cold, you should be very careful about what you're implying. Or what? Or you might find yourself with nothing at all. She gestured around the foyer. Your mother made some interesting decisions near the end. It would be a shame if certain documents came to light. I felt the trap closing around me, saw the gleam of victory in Laura's eyes, the guilt in Mark's face. Even Emily looked away. Fine, I said, the word tasting like ash. I'll stay, for now. Laura's smile widened. Welcome home, dear. I'm sure we'll all get along famously. I climbed the stairs to my old room, each step an effort. But as I reached the landing, I made a silent promise to my mother. They thought they had won, but they didn't know me. They didn't know what I was capable of. This wasn't over. It was just beginning. 3 days into our forced cohabitation, and Laura had already rearranged Mother's kitchen. I stood in the doorway, watching her sort through the spice rack, tossing bottles into a cardboard box. These are all expired, she announced without looking up. Really, your mother should have been more organized. My fingers curled around the door frame. Those aren't expired. They're homegrown. The dates are when she planted them. Laura's perfectly manicured hand paused mid-toss. Oh, well, they're taking up too much space. I need room for my own things. The sound of the front door opening saved me from responding. Mark walked in, briefcase in hand, Emily trailing behind him like a shadow. Everything okay in here? He glanced between us, already playing mediator. Perfectly fine, Laura chirped. Just doing some much-needed organizing. This kitchen was chaos. This kitchen was home, I muttered, moving to rescue Mother's prized rosemary. Laura's hand shot out, gripping my wrist. Careful, dear. Wouldn't want you to hurt yourself. The threat in her voice was subtle but clear. I yanked my hand back, catching Emily's wide-eyed stare from across the room. I'm making dinner tonight, Laura continued. Family meal, non-negotiable. I have plans with Mia. Cancel them? She smiled, all teeth. Family comes first, doesn't it, Mark? He cleared his throat. Listen to your stepmother, Jenna. The word stepmother hit like a slap. I turned to leave, but Laura's voice followed me. Oh, and Jenna, I'll need your mother's old study. I'm turning it into my home office. I froze. The study was sacred ground, Mother's sanctuary, filled with her books, her papers, her life's work. No. No? Laura's eyebrows arched. I don't think you understand. This isn't a request. And this isn't your house. I spun around. Those aren't your things to throw away or change or... Actually, Mark cut in, according to the preliminary paperwork. What paperwork? Silence fell. Mark and Laura exchanged glances. Show me, I demanded. It's complicated, sweetheart, Mark began. Stop calling me that. Show me the paperwork. Laura sighed dramatically. Emily, go to your room. I want to stay, Emily said quietly, the first words I'd heard from her since I arrived. Room, now. Emily hesitated, then slipped past me, her shoulder brushing mine. For a moment, I felt something pressed into my hand, a folded piece of paper. The situation is delicate, Laura said, drawing my attention back. Your mother made some questionable decisions near the end. The house's ownership isn't as straightforward as you might think. You're lying. Am I? She pulled open a drawer, retrieved a folder. See for yourself. The documents inside were legal gibberish, but one thing stood out. Mother's signature, shaky and uncertain. Nothing like her usual confident scrawl. This isn't real, I said, but doubt crept in. She wouldn't, but she did. Laura's voice dripped false sympathy. She knew she needed help managing things. That's why she reached out to us. She never mentioned you, never said anything about... Because she was protecting you, Mark said. She didn't want you to worry. I looked between them. Laura's smug satisfaction, Mark's practiced concern. The paper Emily had slipped me burned in my pocket. Fine, I said finally. Keep the study. Keep whatever you want. Laura's triumph was immediate. I knew you'd be reasonable. Now, about dinner. I still have plans. I headed for the stairs, their protests following me up. In my room, I unfolded Emily's note. The handwriting was rushed, urgent. Check the loose floorboard under Mom's desk. There's something you need to see. I pressed the paper to my chest, heart pounding. For the first time since arriving, I felt something besides anger and grief, hope. Mother had always been methodical, always had a backup plan. Laura's voice carried up the stairs, discussing renovation plans with Mark. Let them plot. Let them think they'd won. Tonight, after their precious family dinner, I'd find out what Mother had hidden away, and then we'd see who really owned this house. The bank statements spread across my bedroom floor told a story that made my blood run cold. Mother's careful financial records, hidden exactly where Emily said they'd be, revealed a pattern of withdrawals starting 3 months before her death. Large sums transferred to an account I didn't recognize. My phone buzzed. Mia's text read, "Found something. Meet me at Riverside Cafe. Now." I crept downstairs, past Laura and Mark's bedroom, where their muffled voices leaked through the door. "She's getting too close," Laura was saying. "We need to..." "I'll handle it," Mark interrupted. "Just stick to the plan." The front door creaked despite my careful exit. Outside, Tom, our neighbor, was watering his lawn in the dark. Odd for 10 at night. He watched me walk to my car, phone pressed to his ear. Mia waited at our usual corner table, laptop open. "Your father's company filed for bankruptcy last year," she said without preamble. "But get this, 2 months before your mom died, he suddenly paid off all his debts." The coffee turned bitter in my mouth. "How much?" "Nearly $500,000. She turned the screen toward me. "The same amount missing from your mom's accounts." "There's more." I pulled out the documents I'd found. "Look at these signatures, the transfer authorizations, the power of attorney. They're all dated after she started showing symptoms. When her hands were shaking too badly to write properly," Mia finished. The cafe door chimed. Emily walked in looking nervous. She slid into our booth without invitation. "Mom's planning something," she whispered. I heard her on the phone with someone named Davidson. Something about finalizing paperwork tomorrow. Davidson? Mia's fingers flew across her keyboard. James Davidson, the real estate developer? My stomach dropped. "The one buying up all the historic properties downtown?" Emily nodded. "They're meeting at his office at noon. Mom thinks I'm at study group, but I followed her last time. She's been there before." "Why are you helping me?" I asked suddenly. "They're your parents." Emily's hands trembled around her untouched water glass. "Because I was there the night before your mom died. I heard them arguing about the house, about money. Mom said something about making it look natural. I didn't understand then, but now..." The cafe seemed to tilt sideways. "You think Laura..." "I don't know," Emily cut in quickly. "But I found these in her desk." She slid a pharmacy receipt across the table. Prescription medications filled the day before Mother died. "The toxicology report," I whispered. "We need to get..." The cafe door chimed again. Laura walked in, her heels clicking against the floor. Emily went pale. "What a coincidence," Laura said, her smile sharp as broken glass. "Family meeting without the whole family?" "Just catching up," I said, but Emily was already gathering her things, avoiding her mother's gaze. "Emily, the car's outside, now." Laura's voice left no room for argument. To me, she added, "Oh, and Jenna, your father wants to discuss the Davidson contract tomorrow, noon sharp." After they left, Mia gripped my hand. "You can't sign anything." "I won't." I stared at the documents scattered between our coffee cups. "But I need to be at that meeting. I need to know what they're planning. It's dangerous. If Laura really did." "My mother's dead," I cut her off, "and they're about to sell her house to a developer who'll tear it down. I need proof, Mia. Real proof." "And then what?" The question hung between us. Through the cafe window, I watched Laura's car pull away, Emily's silhouette rigid in the passenger seat. In my pocket, the forged signatures seemed to burn against my leg. "Then I take everything from them," I said, "just like they took everything from her." Mia closed her laptop. "The police won't help without evidence, but tomorrow at Davidson's office." I pulled out my phone, scrolling through contacts until I found the name I needed. "I think it's time I had a conversation with Tom. He's been watching this house for years. He must know something." "Be careful," Mia warned. "You're playing a dangerous game." I looked at the prescription receipt at the date that marked my mother's last day alive. "They started this game," I said. "I'm just making sure they lose." Tom's backyard was a mess of half-finished projects, but his kitchen was military neat. He poured coffee into a chipped mug, hands steady despite the late hour. "Your mother came to me first," he said, "about the missing money." "When?" "Week before she died. Said Mark had been pressuring her to sign some papers. She refused." He set the mug down hard enough to slosh coffee onto the counter. "Next thing I know, she's dead and they're moving in." "Why didn't you tell the police?" "With what proof?" His laugh was bitter. "Look, I've known Mark longer than you've been alive. Back when we were partners in the construction business, before he embezzled half our savings and left me to face the creditors. The pieces clicked together. That's why you've been watching the house, waiting for history to repeat itself." He pulled out a folder. "These are copies of everything I've gathered. Bank records, business dealings, phone logs. But there's something else." A key slid across the table. "Your mother gave me this. Said if anything happened to her, I should make sure you got it. Safety deposit box at First National." My phone buzzed. "Emily, Mom found the papers in your room. She's destroying everything. I have to go." I grabbed the key, my hands shaking. "Thank you for—" "Wait." Tom caught my arm. "There's more. Laura, she's not who she claims to be. Her real name is—" Headlights swept across the kitchen windows. A car door slammed. "That's Mark's car," Tom whispered. "Out the back. Now." I slipped through the dark yard, heart pounding. Through the neighbor's hedge, I watched Mark stride up Tom's walkway, Laura right behind him. The house was dark when I returned, except for light spilling from my room. I crept upstairs, hearing papers rustling. "Find it?" Mark's voice drifted down the hall. "Nothing useful." Laura sounded frustrated. "But she knows something. That little coffee shop meeting with Emily." "Emily?" Mark's voice sharpened. "What was she doing there?" "Being a naive little fool, like always. But don't worry, I've handled it." My blood ran cold. I pulled out my phone, texted Emily. No response. "We need to move faster," Laura continued. "Davidson won't wait forever. The house isn't even in our name yet. It will be, once we get rid of our little problem." I backed away, but the floor creaked. The rustling stopped. "Jenna?" Mark called. "Is that you?" I ran. Down the stairs, through the kitchen, out the back door. Behind me, footsteps thundered. My car was blocked in by Mark's. I sprinted toward the street, but Laura's voice rang out. "Emily won't answer her phone, will she?" I stopped dead. "Come inside, dear. Let's talk about your sister's safety." I turned slowly. Laura stood on the porch, her smile triumphant. Mark hovered behind her, looking uncertain. "What did you do to her?" "Nothing permanent, yet." She held up her phone. "She's having a lovely sleepover at Davidson's lake house. Very remote, very private." "You're bluffing." A video appeared on her screen. Emily, unconscious on an unfamiliar couch. "Inside now." I walked back like a puppet on strings. In the kitchen, Laura pulled out a stack of papers. "Sign these and Emily comes home. Refuse." She shrugged. "Accidents happen." "Mark," I turned to my father. "She's your daughter." He wouldn't meet my eyes. "Just sign the papers, Jenna, please." I looked at the documents: property transfer, power of attorney, liability waivers, everything they needed to take the house, to erase Mother's last wishes. "You killed her, didn't you?" I said to Laura. "My mother, you killed her for this house." "Prove it." Her smile never wavered. "Oh, wait, I destroyed all your evidence. Now sign." I picked up the pen, my mother's voice echoing in my head. "Sometimes, sweetheart, you have to lose a battle to win the war." I signed. Laura gathered the papers, practically glowing. "See, that wasn't so hard." "Emily," I said, "bring her home." "Tomorrow, after we filed these." She patted my cheek. "Sweet dreams, dear." They left me alone in the kitchen. I pulled out Tom's key, thinking of the safety deposit box, of Emily's fear, of Mother's last days. Tomorrow, they'd learn what it meant to truly lose everything. The safety deposit box held one item, a USB drive labeled insurance. I plugged it into my laptop at First National's private viewing room, hands trembling. Video files filled the screen, security footage from Mother's home office, dated weeks before her death. Laura's voice came through clearly. "Just sign the papers, Catherine. Make this easier on everyone." "Get out of my house!" Mother's voice was weak but determined. "Your daughter doesn't need this burden. Let Mark handle everything." Like he handled his construction company with Tom? Laura's face hardened. "Careful, Catherine. Accidents happen to people who dig too deep." The timestamp jumped forward 2 days. Mother was alone, speaking directly to the camera. "Jenna, if you're watching this, they've already made their move. The proof you need is in Davidson's office, project files from 2012, Mark's original fraud, Laura's real identity, everything." The door opened behind her. The video cut out. My phone buzzed. "Mia, Emily's awake. Tracked her phone to Davidson's lake house. Police won't help without proof of danger." Another message followed. "Tom's gone. His house is empty." I dialed Emily's number again. This time, she answered. "Don't come here," she whispered. "Mom's planning." The line went dead. The bank's fluorescent light suddenly felt too bright, too exposing. I copied the files and headed for the exit, but froze at the sight of Mark waiting by my car. "We need to talk," he said. "About what? How you helped Laura kill my mother?" "You don't understand. Laura, she's not who you think she is." "Then who is she?" "Someone dangerous." His voice cracked. "Someone who's done this before." A black SUV pulled up. Laura stepped out, her smile predatory. "Having a father-daughter moment?" "Stay back," Mark warned, stepping between us. Laura laughed. "Oh, Mark, still playing protector?" She pulled out her phone. "Emily's getting quite bored at the lake house. Should I ask Davidson to entertain her?" "Touch her and I'll—" "You'll what?" She held up the property papers I'd signed. "These make everything legal. The house, the land, all of it. By tonight, Davidson's demolition crew moves in." "Demolition?" Mark turned pale. "That wasn't the deal." "Deals change." She checked her watch. "Speaking of which, the police should be finding Tom's body right about now. Tragic accident. He really should have been more careful on those stairs." The world tilted. Tom's final warning about Laura's real identity echoed in my head. "You're Catherine's daughter, aren't you?" I said quietly. "The one who disappeared after her husband died mysteriously 20 years ago." Laura's smile vanished. Mark stepped back, realization dawning on his face. "Mother knew," I continued. "She recognized you somehow. That's why you had to silence her." "Clever girl." Laura's hand moved to her purse. "Just like your mother, too clever for her own good." "The police!" We'll find evidence of Tom's gambling debts, his suicide note, just like they found your mother's prescription overdose." She moved closer. "The question is, what will they find when they investigate your accident?" Mark grabbed her arm. "This ends now." "No," she pushed him away. "It ends when I say it ends, just like before." My phone buzzed again. Emily. "Got away. Don't trust Mom. She killed—" Laura's hand shot out, snatching my phone. "Emily needs to learn obedience, like mother, like daughter. She's your child. She's a liability, like you." She turned to Mark. "Choose now, her or me." Mark looked between us, 26 years of absence hanging in the air. "I'm sorry, Jenna," he whispered, stepping beside Laura. "Good choice." Laura smiled. "Now, Jenna, about that USB drive." I backed away, Mother's last message burning in my mind. "Davidson's office, the proof." "You can have it," I said. "It's in my car." As they moved toward my vehicle, I ran. Behind me, Laura's laugh echoed off the bank's marble walls. "Run all you want, dear. But remember, I know where Emily is, and accidents happen so easily at lake houses." I didn't stop running. Emily was out there somewhere. The proof waited in Davidson's office, and Mother's voice guided me forward. "Sometimes, sweetheart, the best revenge is letting them think they've won." Davidson's office loomed before me, its windows dark except for one, third floor, corner office, where Mother said the proof would be, where Emily's text had originated. I picked the service entrance lock, a skill learned from Tom before Laura had gotten to him. The stairwell camera's red light was dead. Mia's handiwork with the security system. Voices echoed down the hall as I reached the third floor. "The demolition crew is ready," Davidson's voice. "Once the house is gone, the evidence disappears." "And my daughter?" Laura, still sedated. "She won't remember anything about tonight." I edged closer, phone recording. "And the other one?" Davidson again. "Jenna?" Laura's laugh sent ice through my veins. "Currently hunting ghosts in your filing room. Mark's watching the entrance." My father's voice joined them. "This isn't what we agreed." "Shut up, Mark. You lost your vote when you let Catherine figure it out." I reached the filing room, fingers trembling as I searched for 2012. The drawer was empty. "Looking for these?" I spun around. Laura stood in the doorway, holding a thick folder. Behind her, Mark wouldn't meet my eyes. "Mother knew what you were," I said. "Catherine's daughter, the one who killed her own father." "Stepfather," Laura corrected. "Just like I killed his first wife, Catherine. Just like I killed your mother. Family tradition, you might say." "Why?" "Money, power. The thrill of watching people realize too late who I really am." She dropped the folder into a metal trash can. "Want to know how your mother looked when she finally understood?" "Stop," Mark pleaded. "No, let's tell her everything." Laura struck a match. How Catherine begged for her daughter's life. How easily the prescription drugs mixed into her evening tea. The folder caught fire. How Tom figured it out too late. She smiled. "Poor Tom. Those stairs were so treacherous." "Emily knows," I said. "She'll tell." "Emily won't remember anything after her unfortunate overdose tonight. Tragic, really. Following in her sister's footsteps." "Sister." "That's right," Laura's eyes glittered. "Emily is Catherine's daughter, too. My little sister, hidden away all these years, until I found her." The room spun. Emily, my sister, Mother's daughter. "Mark knew," Laura continued. "He helped hide her back then. His payment for embezzling from Tom. One secret for another." "I tried to protect her," Mark whispered. "Both of them." "By letting their mother die?" He flinched. "Enough talking." Laura pulled out a syringe. "Time to join the family tradition." I backed away, but Mark grabbed my arms. "I'm sorry," he said. "She'll kill Emily if I don't." I fought, but Laura was already moving forward, needle ready. A gunshot cracked through the room. Laura staggered, blood blooming on her shoulder. Behind her, Emily stood in the doorway, Tom's gun steady in her hands. "Get away from my sister," she said. Laura lunged. Another shot. This time she fell. Mark released me, rushing to Laura's side. Emily's hands shook. "The police are coming," she said. "Mia called them. We have proof, everything, the videos, the files Tom saved." "Tom's dead," I said. "No," Emily smiled shakily. "He's downstairs with Davidson, very much alive and very ready to testify." Laura laughed, blood staining her teeth. "You think this changes anything? The house is still mine. The demolition is canceled." Tom's voice came from the hallway. "Along with your entire operation, Sarah Williams. Or should I say, Laura Davidson." "Davidson?" I turned to Emily. "James Davidson's first wife," she explained. "Before she killed him and stole his company. Before she found Mark and learned about her sister's daughter, me." Laura's face contorted. "You were mine, my second chance." "I was never yours," Emily said, "and now everyone will know exactly who you are." Police sirens wailed outside. Laura's eyes met mine, all pretense gone. "You think this is over?" she snarled. "You think you've won?" I picked up the burning folder, now only half destroyed. "Yes," I said, "I do." "Why?" "Because Mother taught me something you never learned." I watched the evidence of her crimes smolder. Real family protects each other. They don't destroy each other. The police burst in, and Laura's facade finally shattered completely. In her eyes, I saw what Mother must have seen at the end. Not a monster, but something far more dangerous. A broken woman who'd never understood what family truly meant. Emily took my hand as they led Laura away. Behind us, the sun rose over Mother's house. Still standing, still ours, still home. The prison visiting room smelled of bleach and desperation. Laura sat across from me, orange jumpsuit stark against her pale skin, handcuffs glinting under fluorescent lights. "Come to gloat?" Her voice was hoarse, but her eyes still burned. "I need to know why." I placed Mother's photo on the table between us. "The whole truth." "Truth?" She laughed. "Which one? How I killed my stepfather when I was 17, how I found Emily, my sister's secret daughter, and molded her into my own? Or how your precious mother figured it all out?" "Start with Emily." Laura's fingers twitched toward the photo. The guard tensed. "Catherine was always the golden child," she said. "Even after she got pregnant at 16, they protected her, hid her away, gave her baby to a friend to raise, Mark." Her smile turned cruel. "He never told you why he really left, did he?" The pieces clicked. Mother found out. She recognized Emily. The resemblance to Catherine was striking. Laura leaned forward. "I spent years tracking my sister's child. When I found Mark, it was almost too perfect. He needed money. I needed access. Emily needed a mother. She had a mother. You killed her. Catherine was weak, like your mother. Both of them so concerned with doing the right thing." She spat the words. "They never understood. Family is power, control." "Is that why you're here now? To maintain control?" Her eyes narrowed. "What do you mean?" I pulled out another photo, security footage from Davidson's office, dated last night. Laura's attorney passing her something during a consultation. "Tom's been watching The Office," I said. "Even from jail, you couldn't resist trying to destroy one last thing." "You don't know what you're talking about." "The demolition crew, the one you hired to accidentally start a fire at the house tonight, during Emily's welcome home party." The mask slipped, just for a moment, but I saw it. The rage, the desperation. "You think you've won?" she hissed. "That house holds secrets you can't imagine, documents, evidence, things that would destroy more than just me." "Like these?" I slid forward one final photo, the hidden safe in Mother's study, open and empty. Laura's composure shattered. "When?" This morning, everything's gone. Everything you tried to hide about Catherine, about Emily's real parents, about all the others you've destroyed. I stood. It's over. Wait, her voice cracked. What are you going to do? Nothing. Nothing? The evidence is where it needs to be. Emily is home. The house is safe. I gathered the photos. You've lost everything, Laura, just like you made others lose everything. That's punishment enough. You're lying. You want revenge. What I want is to go home, to my sister, to the life you tried to steal. I turned to leave. Goodbye, Laura. I'll tell them everything, she shouted. About Mark, about Tom's part in it all. They already know. Mark confessed this morning. Tom testified an hour ago. I looked back one last time. That's the difference between us. Real family protects each other, even when it costs them everything. The guard moved to escort me out, but Laura's voice followed. She cried for you, your mother, at the end, begged me not to hurt her daughters. I stopped. She died thinking she failed to protect you both. My hands shook, but I kept walking. Outside, Emily waited by the car. Did she tell you? Everything. I handed her the photos. About Catherine, about why she really targeted our family. Emily stared at our mother's picture. What do we do now? My phone buzzed. Mia. Demolition crew intercepted. Fire marshal found the accelerant. It's done. Now, I said, we go home. We honor both our mothers. And we really live, knowing Laura will spend the rest of her life watching us be the family she never understood. As we drove away, I glimpsed Laura at her window, a small figure growing smaller, her power finally reduced to nothing but bitter memories and prison walls. Emily squeezed my hand. In her face, I saw echoes of Catherine, of Mother, of the strength that Laura had tried to destroy, but had only made stronger. Together? She asked. Together, I answered, and drove toward home. The lavender bloomed exactly where Mother had planted it. Emily knelt beside the garden bed, carefully transplanting the new seedlings, while Mia documented everything for the Historical Society's preservation records. Found another one, Tom called from the porch, holding up a hidden camera, the last of Laura's surveillance network. He dropped it into a box already full of similar devices. I stood in Mother's study, now restored to its former glory, except for one addition, a framed photo of Catherine, Emily's birth mother, placed beside Mother's desk. Two women who'd loved their daughters enough to die protecting them. The doorbell rang. Mark stood outside, looking older than his years in his court-mandated monitoring device. The prosecutor offered a deal, he said without preamble. Full testimony against Laura's other crimes in exchange for house arrest. And I turned it down. Taking responsibility means accepting consequences. He handed me an envelope. The last of the documentation you'll need. Property deeds, bank records, everything. From the garden, Emily watched us, her expression guarded. She asks about you, I said. She shouldn't. He stepped back. Some mistakes can't be undone. Some fathers don't deserve forgiveness. No, I agreed, but some daughters need closure anyway. He nodded once, then walked away. Emily returned to her planting, but her shoulders relaxed slightly. Inside, I found a letter mixed in with Mark's documents, written in Mother's hand, dated the day before she died. My dearest Jenna, by now you know about Emily, about Catherine, about the web of lies that brought us here. But there's one truth Laura never understood. Family isn't about control or power. It's about choice. I chose to protect Catherine's daughter when she couldn't. I chose to love you both as my own. And now you must choose, not between justice and mercy, but between letting revenge consume you or letting it teach you. The house is yours, both of yours. Make it a home again. All my love, Mom. A noise made me look up. Emily stood in the doorway, dirt still on her hands. I remember her, she said quietly. Catherine. Not clearly, but feelings, moments, like the way she smelled of lavender too. I held out the letter. She read it, tears falling onto the paper. Laura wanted me to be Catherine's replacement, she whispered. But your mother, our mother, she just wanted me to be me. That's why Laura hated her. Mom saw through the control, the manipulation. She saw what family really means. Emily traced Mother's signature. Do you think we can? Make it a home again? Through the window, I watched Tom and Mia working together, erasing Laura's presence piece by piece. The garden bloomed, Mother's legacy growing stronger with each new plant. Even Mark's silhouette, retreating down the street, seemed more like a closed chapter than an open wound. I think, I said, we already are. Emily hugged the letter close. I keep expecting to feel different. After everything, learning about Catherine, watching Laura's sentencing, understanding what they all did to protect me, shouldn't I feel different? I thought of Laura in her prison cell, still trying to control us even now, of Mark choosing punishment over escape, of Mother and Catherine, two women who'd sacrificed everything for love rather than power. Maybe that's the point, I said. We're not different. We're just more ourselves than they ever wanted us to be. The doorbell rang again. The Historical Society Committee come to officially designate the house as a protected property. Soon, they'd ensure no one could ever destroy this place or its memories. But first, I had one last thing to do. In Mother's desk drawer, I found her old garden journal. On the last page, I wrote, "The lavender blooms again. Emily tends it now, just as you did, just as Catherine might have. The house stands strong, protecting new memories while honoring old ones. And we understand now what you tried to teach us. That true power isn't in revenge or control, but in the choice to love, despite everything that says we shouldn't. We chose to be sisters. We choose to make this a home. We choose to live." I closed the journal and joined Emily in the garden, where Mother's lavender scented the air with memories of all the women who'd loved us enough to set us free.
The perfect daughter stands at the podium, her voice steady and clear as she delivers her valedictorian speech. My sister Megan, the golden child, speaking about dreams and potential while I grip the edges of my metal folding chair, fighting the wave of nausea that's been my constant companion for weeks. I'm Aubrey, the family disappointment, and I'm about to ruin my sister's perfect moment. The late May heat presses down on the football field where hundreds of parents and students sit in neat rows. Everything about this graduation ceremony screams control and order, exactly how my father, the college administrator, likes it. He's beaming from his place of honor on stage, watching Megan weave her carefully crafted words about future success and family values. My stomach lurches again. I shouldn't have come, but missing my sister's graduation would have given my father another reason to compare us. Why can't you be more like Megan? The words echo in my head as bile rises in my throat. Are you okay? Tom whispers from beside me. You look pale. I try to nod, but the motion makes the world tilt. The pregnancy test hidden in my desk drawer flashes through my mind, both of them actually. Double positive, double trouble. Megan's voice carries across the field. And so, as we stand on the threshold of our futures, I'm going to throw up, right here, right now, in front of everyone. I stumble to my feet, drawing sharp looks from nearby parents. My mother's eyes find me from her front row seat, her face tightening with familiar disappointment. Aubrey, Tom reaches for my arm, but I'm already moving. I make it 3 steps before my knees buckle. The world spins, voices blur together, and then I'm falling. The last thing I see before everything goes black is my father's face. Not concerned, but angry. Always angry. When I come to, I'm lying on a cot in the nurse's office. The vinyl covering crackles as I shift, and the smell of antiseptic makes my stomach roll again. What were you thinking? My father's voice cuts through the fog. He's standing by the door, arms crossed, jaw clenched. You couldn't even let your sister have one day? Robert, my mother says softly, but there's no real protest in her tone. I'm sorry, I whisper. though I'm not sure what I'm apologizing for. Fainting, being pregnant, or simply existing. The nurse wants to run some tests, my father continues, his words precise and controlled. Care to tell us what she might find? The moment stretches between us like a rubber band about to snap. In my head, I see the next few minutes play out. The revelation, the shock, the inevitable explosion of rage and disappointment. My father's carefully constructed image of our perfect family crumbling because his youngest daughter got knocked up at 19. I'm pregnant, I say, and the words hang in the air like smoke. My mother makes a small sound, not quite a gasp, not quite a sob. My father's face goes completely still, the way it does right before he explodes. Who knows? He demands. Just Tom, and Ethan the father, I swallow hard. He doesn't want anything to do with it. Of course he doesn't, my father snaps. This ends now. We'll make arrangements. No. The word comes out stronger than I expected. This isn't a discussion, Aubrey. You will not destroy everything we've built, everything your sister has worked for. I sit up slowly, the room swaying slightly. I'm keeping it. The hell you are. He steps closer, looming over me. You're barely more than a child yourself. You have no job, no degree, no future. You will do as I say. Looking into his eyes, I see something I've never noticed before. Fear. Not for me, but for himself. For his reputation, his control, his perfect family facade. No, I say again. And in that moment, something shifts inside me. A seed of resistance taking root, growing stronger with each beat of my heart. I won't. His face darkens, and I know what's coming next will change everything. But for the first time in my life, I'm ready for the storm. The drive home feels like a funeral procession. My father's Mercedes leads the way, my mother silent beside him. I'm in the back of Tom's beaten-up Honda, watching the familiar streets blur past, each turn bringing us closer to the confrontation I know is coming. I can turn around, Tom says quietly. We could just drive. Keep going until we hit the coast. The offer tempts me more than I want to admit, but running won't solve anything. I learned that lesson watching my Aunt Clara disappear from our lives years ago, leaving nothing but whispered accusations and my father's rage in her wake. Our house looms ahead, all perfect angles and manicured lawns, a prison disguised as a home. Tom pulls up to the curb, and I catch my sister's car already parked in the driveway. Of course Megan would be here. She's probably already planning damage control. You don't have to do this alone, Tom says. Yes, I do. I squeeze his hand once before stepping out into the evening air. Inside, voices drift from my father's study. I pause in the hallway, my hand resting unconsciously on my still flat stomach. She's always been difficult, my mother's voice, strained and tired. But this ends tonight. My father's tone leaves no room for argument. I won't have her destroy everything we've built. Maybe if we just... Megan starts. Enough! A sharp crack, his hand hitting his desk. Your sister has made her choice. Now she'll face the consequences. I step into the doorway, forcing myself to stand straight despite the nausea still lurking at the edges of my consciousness. Don't I get a say in those consequences? 3 heads snap toward me. My father behind his massive desk, my mother perched on the leather sofa, and Megan standing by the window, a perfect family portrait about to shatter. You lost that right when you decided to throw away your future, my father says. Do you have any idea what this will do to our reputation, to your sister's career prospects? My career prospects? Megan's voice cracks slightly. Dad, that's not... Of course it is, he cuts her off. Everything we've worked for. Everything we've sacrificed to maintain our standing in this community. And you? He turns back to me. You just had to play the rebel. Couldn't stand seeing your sister succeed, could you? The accusation hits harder than I expect. This has nothing to do with Megan. Everything in this family has to do with everyone in this family, he snaps. Your mother and I have already made the arrangements. Dr. Phillips owes me a favor. This can all be handled quietly, and we can put this unfortunate incident behind us. No. The word comes out steady, surprising even me. This isn't a discussion, Aubrey. You're right, I say. It's not. Because this isn't your choice to make. My mother finally speaks, her voice soft but sharp. You're 19, living under our roof, dependent on our support. What exactly do you think your options are? I'll leave. The words taste like freedom and terror mixed together. And go where? My father laughs, but there's no humor in it. To that boy's house? The one who couldn't even face us today? Robert, my mother warns, but he's building steam now. Or maybe to your Aunt Clara? Following in her footsteps of poor decisions and burned bridges? Something in his tone makes me pause. There's more there. Something raw and personal in the way he spits out Aunt Clara's name. I file it away for later examination. I'll figure it out, I say. But I'm keeping this baby. Then you'll do it without our support. He stands, towering over his desk. No money, no car, no college fund, nothing. Dad, please. Megan steps forward, but he silences her with a look. You have until morning to pack your things, he continues. After that, you're no longer welcome in this house. My mother makes a small sound, quickly stifled. Megan's face has gone pale, her perfect composure cracking around the edges. And in that moment, I see them all clearly. Puppets dancing to my father's tune, too afraid or too broken to cut their strings. Fine, I say, and turn to leave. But at the doorway, I stop. You know what's funny? You're so worried about your reputation, about what people will think. But at least I'm honest about my mistakes. What about yours? I don't wait for his response. As I climb the stairs to my room, I hear the first cracks forming in their perfect facade. My mother's muffled sob, Megan's raised voice, my father's sharp commands for silence. Tomorrow, I'll be gone. But I'm starting to realize that leaving might just be the beginning of something much bigger than a teenage pregnancy scandal. Dr. Phillips's office smells like artificial lavender and judgment. The pamphlets on the coffee table mock me with their cheerful fonts and sanitized language about options and choices. My mother sits 3 chairs away, her spine rigid, checking her watch every 30 seconds as if she could speed time through sheer will. Aubrey Thompson? The nurse's voice carries across the waiting room. I stand, my legs shaking. My mother rises too, but I hold up my hand. I'm going alone. Don't be difficult, she whispers, but I'm already following the nurse down the sterile hallway. Dr. Phillips looks exactly like someone my father would know. Expensive watch, practiced smile, the kind of confidence that comes from never having your authority questioned. He gestures to the examination chair while reviewing my chart. So we're looking at approximately 8 weeks, he says, not really a question. Robert explained the situation. We can take care of this quickly and discreetly. I want to know about the risks. He looks up, surprised. The procedure is very safe. We can have you back home by... All the risks, I interrupt. Long-term complications, future fertility, everything. Something flickers across his face. Annoyance, maybe respect. He sets down the chart. There's always a small chance of complications. In rare cases, scarring can affect future fertility, but given your situation... What situation? My father's reputation? The doctor's carefully neutral expression cracks slightly. Your father is concerned about your future. Sometimes we need to make difficult choices to protect... To protect what? My voice rises. The family name? His position at the college? Tell me, Dr. Phillips, how many other girls has my father sent to you for discreet solutions? His silence tells me everything. I'm not having the procedure, I say, standing. And I think maybe the medical board would be interested in knowing about your arrangement with my father. Miss Thompson. His tone hardens. Think carefully about what you're doing. Your father has influenced a lot of careers in this town, including mine. But he's also ended them. The threat hangs between us, and suddenly I understand exactly how my father maintains his perfect world. How many lives has he shaped or destroyed with his influence? How many secrets are buried under his carefully maintained reputation? I leave without another word, ignoring my mother's questions as I walk straight out of the clinic. The summer air hits me like a wall, and I gulp it down, fighting nausea that has nothing to do with pregnancy. My phone buzzes. A text from Megan. Where are you? Dad's furious. Another buzz. Aunt Clara called the house. Dad lost it. Something about James? My fingers freeze over the screen. James. A name I've never heard before, but it made my father lose control? I save the message just as Tom's car pulls up. "You okay?" he asks as I slide into the passenger seat. "Drive to Aunt Clara's. Your parents won't look for me there. They haven't spoken to her in years." I punch her address into his GPS, the one my mother thought I didn't know about, carefully preserved in an old address book hidden in her desk. What happened in there? I stare out the window, watching the familiar streets of our town transform into unknown territory. I think I just discovered that Dr. Phillips isn't the only one keeping my father's secrets. "Aubrey," Tom's voice is careful. "Are you sure you want to pull this thread? Some secrets stay buried for a reason." "Like James?" The name feels significant on my tongue, though I don't know why. Who's James? I don't know, but my father's reaction to his name tells me he's important. I rest my hand on my stomach, feeling a new kind of strength growing inside me, and Aunt Clara knows why. We turn onto a quiet street lined with modest houses, nothing like my father's carefully maintained mansion. Tom pulls up to a small blue house with wild roses climbing the porch. "Whatever you find out," he says, "it's going to change things. Are you ready for that?" I look at the house, thinking about secrets and lies, about power and control, about the way my father's perfectly constructed world is built on other people's silence. "Yes," I say, opening the car door. "I'm ready to tear it all down." The porch steps creak under my feet as I approach the door, each step taking me further from the life I knew and closer to whatever truth waits behind Aunt Clara's door. I raise my hand to knock, and in that moment, I feel something shift inside me. Not just the baby, but something deeper. Something that tastes like justice. Aunt Clara's kitchen table holds more truth than my father's entire house. The morning light streams through unwashed windows, illuminating a stack of old photographs and newspaper clippings spread before me. My hands shake as I pick up a yellowed hospital record. "James Thompson," I read aloud. "Born with spina bifida, given up for adoption." The date makes my stomach clench. Exactly 25 years ago. "Your father made that decision alone," Aunt Clara says, pouring more coffee into my untouched cup. "Linda was still sedated when he signed the papers. But she never fought it? By the time she found out, Robert had convinced everyone it was for the best. A clean break, he called it." Clara's mouth twists. "Nothing clean about abandoning your child." My phone buzzes again. Another message from Megan. I've been ignoring them all morning, but this one catches my eye. "Dad's calling an emergency family meeting. Says he knows where you are. Please come home." "He can't force me back," I say, more to myself than Clara. "No, but he can make life very difficult." She slides a business card across the table. "James Harrison, that's the name he goes by now. He's giving a speech at the medical conference next month. Your father's conference." The irony hits like a punch to the gut. My perfect, controlling father who threw away his firstborn son will be sitting in the audience while that same son delivers the keynote address on pediatric surgery. Does James know about them? No. Clara's eyes hold something I can't quite read. But maybe he should. A knock at the door makes us both jump. Tom appears in the kitchen doorway, his face tight with worry. "Aubrey, you need to see this." He holds out his phone, showing me a social media post from Megan. It's a carefully worded announcement about her new job at the college, working directly under our father. The comments are full of congratulations, praising the Thompson family legacy. "She's choosing his side," I whisper. "She's choosing survival," Clara corrects. "Just like I did once. Just like your mother still does." Another message pops up, this one from an unknown number. My heart stops when I open it. It's a photo of me entering the abortion clinic yesterday, clearly taken without my knowledge. The caption reads, "What would the board think about Dr. Phillips's special arrangements?" "He's threatening me," I say, showing them the message. Tom's jaw tightens. "We should go to the police." "With what? My father owns half this town." The realization hits me hard. "That's why you left, isn't it, Clara? You knew something." She doesn't answer immediately, instead walking to a locked drawer in her desk. The key shakes slightly in her hand as she removes a thick manila envelope. "I kept records," she says finally. "Of everything. Every girl your father sent to Phillips, every career he destroyed, every favor called in, including what really happened with James." Why didn't you use them? Because exposure would hurt more than just Robert. All those girls, those families, they've built new lives. Some secrets protect the innocent as much as the guilty. She places the envelope in front of me. But maybe it's time for the right truth to come out. I stare at the envelope, feeling the weight of lives and lies pressing down on me. Through the window, I can see my father's Mercedes pulling up to the curb. He's here, Tham says quietly. Good. I stand, one hand on my stomach, the other gripping the envelope. Let him come. Aubrey, Clara's voice stops me. Remember, revenge and justice aren't always the same thing. I look at the envelope, then at the photo of James speaking at a medical conference. Successful, whole, everything my father tried to throw away. In that moment, I realize what I have to do. No, I agree. Sometimes justice is better. The doorbell rings, its cheerful chime at odds with the tension filling the room. I take a deep breath, feeling my child move within me. Another life my father wanted to erase. But this time, the choice isn't his to make. I head for the door, the envelope secure in my hands, ready to face whatever comes next. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't destroying someone's perfect world, it's forcing them to face the truth they've spent a lifetime burying. The medical conference program feels heavy in my hands. James Harrison's photo stares back at me. My father's abandoned son, now a celebrated pediatric surgeon. 3 weeks of planning have led to this moment, watching the conference center fill with doctors, administrators, and my father's carefully cultivated network of influence. He's arriving in 10 minutes, Tham says, checking his phone. Security confirmed it. I adjust my visitor's badge, conscious of my growing belly beneath the loose blazer. 4 months pregnant, and already my body betrays secrets I'm not ready to share. Aubrey, Megan's voice makes me freeze. She stands at the entrance to the conference hall, wearing the same expression she used when covering for my teenage rebellions. Dad knows you're here. Good. I hold up the manila envelope from Clara. He should be here for this. You don't understand. Ethan's here too. The name hits like ice water. What? Dad hired him. He's working security. She steps closer, lowering her voice. He knows things, Aubrey, about the baby. My hand instinctively moves to my stomach. Ethan abandoned me the moment I told him about the pregnancy, but of course my father would find a way to weaponize him. Dr. Harrison is entering the building, crackles over the security radio at a nearby guard's belt. Time slows. Through the glass doors, I see James for the first time in person. He walks with a slight limp, the only visible sign of the condition my father deemed unworthy of the Thompson name. Behind him, I spot Ethan in a security uniform, speaking into his radio. Whatever you're planning, Megan whispers. It's not too late to stop. Actually, it is. I pull out my phone, sending the pre-written email to every board member and local news outlet. Because I just sent proof of Dad's arrangement with Dr. Phillips. And in about 30 seconds, James is going to learn who really signed his adoption papers. Megan's face drains of color. You'll destroy everything. No, Dad did that 25 years ago when he threw away his son. The conference hall doors open. James enters, surrounded by admiring colleagues. My father appears from another doorway, his practiced smile faltering when he sees me. Security, he snaps, but Ethan hesitates, looking between us. Sir, Ethan starts. Maybe we should... Now! I step forward, envelope in hand. Hello, James? Or should I say, brother? The room goes silent. James turns, confusion crossing his face. My father moves with surprising speed, but Tom steps between us. Miss Thompson, a security guard approaches. You need to leave. Not before he sees these. I open the envelope, pulling out the adoption papers with my father's signature. 25 years ago, Robert Thompson signed away his firstborn son because he was born with spina bifida, a son who grew up to become one of the country's leading pediatric surgeons. James takes the papers with trembling hands. My father's face contorts with a rage I've never seen before. You ungrateful! He starts toward me, but Megan suddenly moves to my side. It's true, she says, her voice carrying across the stunned audience. I found the papers in Mom's desk years ago. Phones are out now, recording everything. James stares at the documents, then at our father, his professional composure cracking. Robert Thompson is your biological father. I continue, my voice steady despite my racing heart. He abandoned you without your mother's consent. Just like he tried to force me to abort my baby to protect his precious reputation. You're lying, James whispers, but his eyes say he knows it's true. My phone buzzes. News alerts about Dr. Phillips's illegal arrangements with the college administrator. My father's carefully constructed world beginning to crumble. I can explain, my father starts, but James cuts him off. Explain what? How you threw away a child because he wasn't perfect? How you're still doing it? Ethan steps forward, removing his security earpiece. Sir, I won't help you hurt her again. The room erupts in whispers. My father's network watching his control slip away. But as I look at James's devastated face, at Megan's tears, at the pain rippling through our broken family, I realize revenge tastes different than I imagined. I didn't do this for revenge, I say, loud enough for everyone to hear. I did it because some truths need to be told. Some lies need to end. My father lunges for the papers in James's hands, but it's too late. The truth, like the child growing inside me, has a life of its own now, and neither of us can be silenced anymore. The college board meeting room feels like a tomb. My father sits at the head of the table, his lawyer whispering in his ear while board members shuffle papers and avoid eye contact. The local news vans outside cast long shadows through the windows. I'm not supposed to be here, but Megan's employee badge got me through security. My sister, now suspended from her position pending investigation, stands in the corner, her perfect posture finally cracking under the weight of everything we've lost. The board calls Dr. James Harrison, the chairman announces. James enters, walking past me without a glance. Since the conference, he's refused to speak to any of us. I don't blame him. Finding out your biological father abandoned you is one thing. Learning your sister used that truth as a weapon is another. Dr. Harrison, my father's lawyer begins, regarding the allegations made about your adoption. They're not allegations. James's voice cuts through the formal atmosphere. I've confirmed everything through hospital records. Robert Thompson is my biological father, and he abandoned me without my mother's consent. My father doesn't flinch, but his knuckles whiten against the polished table. Miss Thompson, the chairman turns to me. Your evidence regarding Dr. Phillips's arrangements, we need to discuss. The boardroom door bursts open. My mother storms in, clutching a familiar manila envelope. My stomach drops. Not the copy I gave James, but the original from Aunt Clara's desk. Linda, my father warns, but she's already speaking. These records, she says, her voice trembling, they're not complete. Clara didn't just keep evidence about Robert's arrangements. She kept everything. The room goes silent. My mother pulls out a document I've never seen before, including proof that she's James's real mother. The world tilts. James stands so quickly his chair crashes backward. What? Clara Thompson is your biological mother, my mother continues. Robert forced her to give you up, threatened to expose her relationship with a married doctor. He used you to control her, just like he's tried to control all of us. My father's mask finally cracks. You had no right. I had every right! My mother's voice rises. 25 years of secrets, of watching you destroy lives to maintain your precious reputation. And now our daughters. That's enough. My father stands. This meeting is over. No, James says quietly. It's not. Because I'm pressing charges. Against all of you. The word hits like a physical blow. James, I never meant... To what? Use me for revenge? Destroy my life to punish him? He gestures at our father. You're all the same. Playing games with people's lives, thinking you get to decide what truth deserves to be told. Megan steps forward. We were trying to help. Help? James laughs bitterly. I had a life, a career, parents who chose me. Now what do I have? A biological father who threw me away, an aunt who's actually my mother, and a sister who used my trauma for her own vendetta. The board members whisper among themselves. My father's lawyer scribbles furiously, and I stand there, feeling my carefully constructed plan crumbling around me. The district attorney's office will be in touch, James says, turning to leave. With all of you. As he walks out, I catch a glimpse of Aunt Clara in the hallway, her face pale and drawn. Our eyes meet briefly before she turns away, following her son into the shadows of truths I never should have unearthed. Well, my father says into the silence, his voice steady again. It seems my daughter's quest for justice has backfired rather spectacularly. He's right. In trying to expose his secrets, I've destroyed more than just his reputation. I've shattered James's life, betrayed Aunt Clara's trust, cost Megan her career, and now face potential legal consequences that could affect my unborn child's future. The baby kicks, as if sensing my despair. Tom's words echo in my head. Sometimes revenge hurts the avenger more than the target. I leave the boardroom without another word, walking past the news vans and reporters, past the familiar buildings where my father once reigned supreme. The truth is out now, but it's not the cleansing fire I imagined. Instead, it's a poison that's touched everyone I meant to protect. In the parking lot, I spot James helping Aunt Clara into his car. They drive away without looking back, leaving me alone with the realization that in my quest for justice, I've become exactly what I hated. Someone who sacrifices others for their own agenda. The worst part isn't the potential charges or the family I've destroyed. It's knowing that somewhere in this wreckage, I lost sight of who I wanted to be. The courthouse steps are crowded with reporters when my father emerges from his hearing. His lawyer shields him from cameras while flashbulbs capture his fallen empire. The great Robert Thompson, facing criminal charges for decades of manipulation and corruption. I watch from across the street, one hand on my swollen belly, the other clutching James's latest press statement. He's become the face of medical ethics reform, turning his pain into purpose, unlike me. Ready? Tom asks beside me. Before I can answer, Aunt Clara's car pulls up. She steps out, looking older than her 42 years, and walks straight toward my father. The reporters surge forward, sensing blood in the water. Robert! Her voice carries across the chaos. We need to talk. My father tries to push past, but she grabs his arm. About Mother's Trust Fund. He freezes. Even from here, I see the color drain from his face. Not here, he hisses. Yes, here. She turns to the cameras. Should I tell them how you really paid for James's adoption? About the money you stole? I move without thinking, crossing the street. Tom calls after me, but I'm already caught in the gravity of this moment. What trust fund? I ask, stepping into the circle of cameras. My father's mask cracks. Aubrey, leave. Your grandmother left everything to Clara. My mother's voice comes from behind me. She emerges from the courthouse looking straight at her husband. But Robert convinced the lawyers she was unstable after her affair, had everything transferred to him instead. You used my inheritance to pay for my own adoption? Clara's laugh is bitter. To buy my silence? The reporter's questions become a roar. My father's lawyer tries to intervene, but it's too late. I protected this family! My father shouts suddenly. Everything I did was to maintain order, to preserve our name. By destroying everyone who didn't fit your perfect image, I step closer. James, Clara, me? You ungrateful! He lunges forward, but someone catches his arm. James. That's enough, Father. The word drips with contempt. The board of directors just voted. The medical center is launching a full investigation into every adoption you facilitated through Dr. Phillips. My father's composure shatters completely. You can't... Actually, I can. As the new head of ethics oversight. James turns to Clara, to his mother. With full support from the district attorney's office. The cameras capture everything. My father's defeat, Clara's tears, James's quiet strength. But it's my mother who delivers the final blow. I've filed for divorce, she announces, and I'm testifying about everything. My father lunges again, this time at my mother. I step between them instinctively, protecting her the way she never protected me. He pulls back at the last second, his hand frozen in midair, finally seeing what he's become. You're just like him, he spits at me. Using people's secrets as weapons, destroying lives for revenge. The words hit home, but not in the way he expects. Because he's right, I did become like him, and that's why this has to end differently. No, I say quietly. I'm choosing to be better. That's why I'm dropping the charges against you. The reporters fall silent. James and Clara turn to stare at me. What? My father whispers. I'm having a daughter, I tell him. And I won't teach her that revenge heals anything. The truth is out now. What happens next isn't about destroying you. It's about rebuilding everything you broke. I turn to James and Clara, starting with our real family. My father stands alone on the courthouse steps, surrounded by cameras, but finally stripped of his power to control the narrative. The truth has done what revenge never could. Set us all free. Let's go home, I say to no one in particular, and everyone who matters follows. James, Clara, my mother, Megan, Tom. We leave my father to face the consequences of his own choices, not our vengeance. As we walk away, my daughter kicks, and I understand finally what Clara meant about some secrets protecting the innocent. The biggest secret was one I kept from myself. That healing comes not from revenge, but from the courage to build something new from the ashes of what was lost. Clara's garden blooms with late summer roses as I watch James teach my daughter to walk. Her tiny hands grip his fingers while she toddles across the uneven ground, his patience matching her determination. The sight makes my chest ache with something between joy and regret. She has your stubbornness, Megan says, settling beside me on the porch steps. She's different now, softer around the edges, but stronger at her core. The job she found at a women's shelter suits her better than our father's carefully planned career ever did. And your grace, I reply, watching my daughter's careful steps. The screen door creaks behind us. My mother emerges with lemonade, her wedding ring notably absent. The divorce papers arrived yesterday, along with news of my father's plea deal. House arrest instead of prison, his empire reduced to a monitored existence in the same mansion he once ruled. Ethan called again, my mother says quietly. I know. I touch my phone through my pocket, feeling the weight of his unread messages. He wants to meet his daughter, claims he's changed. Maybe he has, but some bridges stay burned. James scoops up my giggling daughter, his slight limp more pronounced after a long day. Someone's ready for her nap, he calls, heading toward us. I'll take her, Clara offers, appearing from her garden. She meets James's eyes, mother and son still navigating their complicated truth. He hands over my daughter with a small smile, their shared features obvious now that we know to look for them. The ethics board approved the new oversight committee, James tells me as Clara disappears inside. We're implementing screening procedures for all adoption cases. No more secret arrangements. And Dr. Phillips? Lost his license. He's cooperating with the investigation. Tom's truck pulls into the driveway, his son Noah waving from the passenger seat. They've become regular fixtures here, helping Clara with house repairs, joining our makeshift Sunday dinners, building something new from the ashes of what burned. Dad asked about you, Megan says suddenly. He wanted to know if you'd bring the baby to see him. The old anger flares, but it's duller now, more like an old scar than an open wound. What did you tell him? That it's not my decision to make. She picks at a loose thread on her sleeve. He's different now, smaller. Sometimes smaller is better, my mother observes. Means there's room to grow. Inside, I hear my daughter's laughter mixing with Clara's soft singing. The sound draws me up, pulling me toward the door, but I pause at the threshold. I got another letter from the support group, I tell them. 3 more families have come forward about forced adoptions. They're asking for help navigating reunions. Are you going to help them? James asks. I think about revenge and justice, about how thin the line between them can be, about my daughter, who will grow up knowing all her family's truths, the beautiful and the ugly ones. Yes, I decide, but not for revenge, for healing. The afternoon light catches the roses, making them glow like tiny flames. Tom and Noah join us on the porch, fitting seamlessly into our patchwork family. My mother pours more lemonade, her hands steady now that she's free. Megan leans against the railing, finally comfortable in her own skin. James watches Clara through the window, their shared pain slowly transforming into understanding. And I stand in the doorway between past and future, knowing that some secrets need to stay buried, while others need the light to heal. My father's perfect world had to burn so something real could grow in its place. My daughter's cry draws me inside, not urgent, but demanding. As I lift her from Clara's arms, she grabs my necklace, the one containing a small photo of all of us at her christening. Her family. Not perfect, not unbroken, but real. Tell me again, she'll ask someday, about how our family found each other. And I'll tell her about revenge that turned to redemption, about secrets that became strength, about how sometimes you have to tear everything down to build something true. But mostly, I'll tell her about love, the kind that survives fire and grows back stronger in broken places. Because that's the secret I finally learned. Revenge burns everything, but truth plants gardens.